Assalam alaikum Shabbat! I want you to be loud. I want you to be proud. It's time to be brave. Are you ready?
A man's vision, determination, inspired a generation. It gave a new dream for the youth of his homeland. It created a groundbreaking revolution in the sports. When a vision is strongest, nothing can stop its far-reaching impact. And the vision was 3 powerful letters: KHK. And today, his vision is far-reaching. The valor and pride of his homeland is far-reaching. Today, his vision is defining the future of a new generation. A generation of heroes and of gladiators. Today is the day of hope for the hopeless. The day KHK will inspire the souls to fight back, irrespective of what they are and who they are. Many will emerge as heroes. This will be a new era of true heroes and gladiators. When he stood in the front and led them, they called him the Prince of Gladiators and Heroes.
In 2016, a vision revolutionized mixed martial arts in the Middle East. It all started with the evolution of MMA in a small island in the Middle East. The magnificent Kingdom of Bahrain, a land of ancient glory and bravery, thriving under great leaders and visionaries. The country is now home to the largest MMA promotion in the region, Brave Combat Federation. And the kingdom became the first ever country outside of the United States that featured the IMF World Championships. His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa and his true warrior spirit envisioned the growth of MMA in the region. He believed in the glory of the sport of mixed martial arts and facilitated the best MMA facility in the land. Along with brave President the Hawk, Mohammed Shahid, in the shortest span of time we grew stronger. We grew bigger. This is the story of the fastest growing MMA promotion in the world. This is the story of Brave Combat Federation.
T-minus 1 minute and counting. Countdown. T-minus 50 seconds. As we commence the T-minus 50 second mark, the power transfer takes place. First stage, second stage, third stage. 40 seconds and counting. T-minus 37 seconds, and our count continues to go well. T-minus 30. T-minus 25 seconds and counting. Alright, 20 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 17 seconds and counting. 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This bout is presented by Brave Nutrition. Behind the athlete, there are hours of training. Behind every hard training is Brave Nutrition. Sergeyev is looking to return to MMA competition with a bang as he takes on newcomer Erakin Abdusalamov, who has the chance to kickstart his career with a huge win. Coming up next, a big super lightweight contest between Sergeyev and Erakin Abdusalamov.
Our first point is 3 5-minute rounds in the Brave Combat Federation Super Lightweight Division. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist making his professional debut. He stands at 185 centimeters tall and weighs in at 74.9 kilos. Fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, Erakin Abdusalamov! His opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 175 centimeters tall and weighs in at 74.4 kilograms. Fighting out of Sochi, Russia, introducing Saeed Hussein Sergeyev! Your referee in charge is Mr. Maxim Protasov.
All right, first bout soon underway, and this should be a good one, and I think a bit of an old school matchup perhaps. I think we might see a bit of a striker versus grappler battle because, as I mentioned, Sergeyev, very, very accomplished. He's a master of sport in freestyle wrestling, in sambo, whereas Abdusalamov has a lot of striking credentials. He's a master of sports in Muay Thai and kickboxing. He's also the Kyrgyzstan national K1 champion. So, once again, two very experienced guys.
Sergey Sergeyev in white, Erakin by Abdusalamov in black.
And look at the shoulders on Sergeyev. That is a whole lot of wrestling that has gone into forming those.
Sebastian, I just want to repeat for Brave Nation what you've already said. These are not beginners. Don't look at the numbers on the record. These are highly experienced combat sports athletes.
And Sergeyev, he made his pro debut and defeated Andrei Denisov by a first-round rear naked choke in Sochi, of all places. That was in 2018. Then, obviously, I think a lot of people's plans were delayed in the past couple of years. So I'm sure he's glad to return here, where he had a very successful debut and really show his home nation what he has to offer.
Brave Combat Federation, Brave Nation, what you're seeing here is two fighters feeling each other out. If fighters begin throwing huge shots at each other, it means they are beginners. What happens in the very beginning of a fight, in the first 1 to 4 minutes or so, is you're trying to get a sense of your opponent's range. What are their reflexes like? What do they hit hardest with? And that's what's going on right here. This is not a tentative fight. This is a very explicit feeling out process where each fighter is trying to see what the other one has. Once each fighter feels like he has the measure of the other man, they will start to turn it up.
Absolutely, and Abdusalamov does have a sizable height and reach advantage, and he really wants to use that. That's why he's sort of feeling things out. He's, throwing a little jab out there, a front kick, just to sort of establish distance, find his range, and then once he really feels comfortable at his range, I think we're going to see some heavy shots fired off. Also, I'm sure he is well aware of Sergeyev's extensive grappling background. And there, as I said it,
timing is everything!
There we have it. Sergeyev gets the takedown in the most significant moment of the fight so far.
Sebastian, looks like we've got a fighter in bottom half guard. Half guard in grappling is actually the single most productive position to be in. It's not so much in mixed martial arts. It's more close to a half mount. This is not a good place for Erakin to be.
Absolutely. This is not how we wanted to start off a very first round. I mean, I'm sure he wanted to fire off some hard shots, maybe get in some leg kicks that would make some of these grappling exchanges a little bit more tedious for Sergeyev. Now Sergeyev, he's fresh and he's ready to do damage from the top position. And he's working on trying to pass, most likely get over to mount. But then again, a lot of fighters are doing a lot of great work from half guard these days. Oh, and he's going for a guillotine.
Guillotine past the mount. This is not looking good for Erakin.
Oh, that looks tight. That looks really tight. I think he's going to tap.
Referee's watching closely.
That is it! Saeed Sergeyev puts a stamp on his return to Sochi with another first-round submission victory.
Out went the lights!
What a performance. I mean, It just doesn't seem as Abdusalamov was starting to come on a little bit, find his range, battle Sergeyev, hit him with that takedown, and once they were on the ground, there was just no stopping Sergeyev's advance.
Sebastian, that is a perfect example of why mixed martial arts is physical chess. When an opponent starts to show superiority in one area, if you're a complete fighter, you can counter it.
Absolutely. And I just love how calm and methodical Sergeyev was in setting that up. And some fighters coming back after a long layup, a little bit of nerves, trying to prove something, not only to themselves, but to the world and to the opponent. But he stayed so calm and collected, slowly advancing, going for position instead of attack, which really is the way you're supposed to do when you're a high-level grappler.
Erakin is up. He's completely fine. For those of you in Brave Nation who aren't familiar with all the ins and outs of this sport, getting put to sleep from a choke is not dangerous. It's part of judo and Olympic sport. Millions of people have been choked out. It is not dangerous, although it does look a little scary if you haven't seen it before.
Absolutely. I mean, as we see Abdusalamov up on his feet, just disappointed more than anything, not hurt. I don't think he had thrown a single strike, to be honest. But obviously, it is a type of thing that is hard to
For those of you in Brave Nation wondering why there's always a delay before Phil enters the cage, it's because this is done with the auspices of the Russian Mixed Martial Arts Organization. They're making sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Maxim Protasov, calls an end to the action at 3 minutes and 2 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner via guillotine choke, fighting out of the red corner, Sergey
What a performance for Sergeyev. Truly dominant once he got onto the ground. It was one-way traffic there.
And again, Sebastian, that is what makes mixed martial arts so great. If somebody's a better striker, you take it down to the ground and test their mettle there.
Absolutely. There's just so much variety to martial arts.
This bout is sponsored by Brave Energy Drink. Only the best to power your best effort. Fortune favors the brave. Magomed Kamalov will look to get a winning debut for Brave Combat Federation against Zokirjan Hashimov, who is excited to represent Uzbekistan on a truly global stage. Coming up next, a catchweight bout of 59 kilograms between Magomed Kamalov and Zokirjan Hashimov.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight 59-kilo bout. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 1 win, 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He stands 168 centimeters tall and weighs in at 59 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, Magomed Bullet Kamalov! And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 9 wins and 4 losses. He stands 160 centimeters tall, weighing in at 57.5 kilograms. Fighting out of Uzbekistan, presenting Zarkizan Hashimov. Your referee in charge is Mr. Nikolai Sharipov.
Once again, both of these fighters are kitted out in Green Hill apparel. My opinion, the finest mixed martial arts apparel on the planet.
And we are off with our second bout of the evening. Hashimov in kind of a hurry to make it to the center of a cage and starting things off with, some fakes and feints, testing the waters here. Hit and low kick misses from Kamalov. And Kamalov is a fighter with great cardio, and it's a bit of a contrast to Hashimov. Not that he doesn't have good cardio, it's just he usually doesn't have to use it too often because he's out of there before it's over.
So Curzon clearly showing more aggression so far. Feinting level changes, preparatory to a double leg, also feinting with the hands. Opponent does not know if his opponent's going to be in on the hips or trying to land the big shots with the hands.
And once again, we see him just sort of, you know, testing the range, and I think it was a pretty solid leg kick that landed there from Hashimov. And head kick blocked, but even when you block a really hard kick, it can still do a lot of damage. We've seen fighters get knocked out by a head kick despite blocking it. Mark Munoz against Leona Machida comes to mind, for example.
It can indeed, Sebastian. I've actually reffed 2 fights to date in which an opponent got a broken arm from a high kick.
Nice volume here from Hashimov, really mixing things up nicely. I mean, very well defended takedown there for Kamalov, but I like the variety we're seeing here from Hashimov. Nice heavy leg kick lands there. And it seems to be, or it seems as if Hashimov has a bit of a speed advantage. And you gotta wonder if Kamalov is in some ways a little bit affected of coming off of his first loss, if that has perhaps made him a little bit tentative, not willing to rush into anything.
Sebastian, I believe that Bullet right now is still trying to get a complete sense of his opponent's speed, but he just turned it on. I think that's the Bullet we're going to see from now on in. Flying knees, there you go, spinning kicks.
Yeah, I think he has gotten started, and if you were to just look at the body types, Kamalov seems like a stronger, larger, heavier fighter for sure, despite the fact that Hashimov actually weighed in at more. Spinning hook kick misses for Hashimov. Nice knee to the midsection there from Kamalov.
Sebastian, we've seen the 2 fighters take each other's measure on the outside. Now they're in an all-important part up against the cage, and we've seen Bullet on top with a quick takedown.
And let's see what he can do here from the full guard. It's an open guard as well, so. And some shoulder strikes from the guard, a pretty unusual technique. Don't see it that often, but it is becoming more and more popular. And it seems like he's not really too intent on advancing right now because the guard is open, and he hasn't really made, Kamalov that is, hasn't made any, you know, clear attempts at advancing. But some fighters, they like keeping it around the guard just to sort of soften up their opponent a little bit, test the waters in the ground before they advance. And I suspect that might be what we're seeing here.
With Hashimov as close as he is to that fence, I'd like to see him start wall walking now. Actually, I'd like to see him start wall walking about 10 seconds ago.
Yeah,
what
right?
he's got to do is go hand, knee, elbow, foot, and then boop, get himself up and off the ground. Until he does that, he is going to be at a huge disadvantage, as you can see.
Absolutely. It seems like he's a little bit too passive in this position. He has to make some kind of advancements himself as well. He can't just accept this position and give it to Kamalov, because Kamalov will ride him here all night if he has to, just pounding him out with strikes and shoulders.
In the earliest days of the sport, you did regularly see submissions from the guard. It's much less usual now when there's striking involved. It makes it a much, much tougher proposition to earn that. There we go. Now we see the fighters trying to come to his knees, but he is denied. Kamalov does appear to be the superior wrestler, and he's using that wrestling to keep his opponent on his back.
And he has advanced to half guard now. Much more advantageous position for him. And he just looks comfortable here. He really just is putting it on Hashimov here on the ground, who really doesn't have much of an answer for this position. Nice knee here on the ground as well. Of course, knees to the body are allowed on the ground. And elbows as well. I mean, this is just not where Hashimov wants to be. This is his opponent's home turf, basically. Right in front of our broadcast position here with some hard shots from Kamalov.
This is the mauling style that's been popularized by a good friend of Brave Combat Federation, Habib Nurmagomedov. We're seeing a beautiful example of it here in the Brave Combat Federation cage. Round ends!
What a strong round from Magomed Kamalov. I don't think there's any air of mystery as to who won that very first round. A dominant performance from Kamalov. Although, you know, you've got to give some credit as well. He started the round up very, very nice. Some variety, some fitness, take down a time. Now tie the battle back.
No question in my mind that was a 10-9 round in his favor. However, it was not, as you broke down point by point, it was not a 10-8 round. It was not a totally dominating round. We did see good action from both fighters on this card. Hopefully we see some good action on the replay coming up.
A little bit of the action in the first round. That's where strike a combination. And here we have the takedown that started off the ground dominance from Kamalov.
Round 2, Brave Nation.
All right, let's see what Hashimov has for answer for the grappling of Magomed Kamalov. And I think he might be a little bit more tentative in some respects, or at least a little bit more defensively minded. Oh, nice!
Oh, the Senchai kick.
That is not what I expected to see from Magomed Kamalov there. And just as his opponent, Hashimov landed a nice leg kick again.
Brave Nation, that kick that you just saw happens just a handful of time in mixed martial arts in an entire year. That was awesome.
That is the MMA striking equivalent of a Loch Ness monster. Seldom seen, but always appreciated. And I like that left hand that Hashimov landed there, but he's got to get away from the cage. Another solid leg kick. Hashimov really attacking that lead leg of Kamalov, and there is some noticeable redness on it, but there another deep takedown from Magomed Kamalov, who just puts Hashimov back on the ground right where he wanted him.
What we're seeing here, Sebastian, is why wrestling is the most important component of mixed martial arts, and it's also why Russia is so dominant in the sport. People see two fighters and they don't think wrestling has that much relevance, but the wrestling is what allows you to keep the fight striking on the feet if you want to, or stop it if you want to. And if you have this kind of vicious ground and pound, it means the opponent doesn't have an opportunity to throw a submission up from bottom.
Those were proper elbows right there. I think we saw about 7 or 8 straight heavy elbows and more. Oh, Hashimov's got to do something. This fight is going to get stopped, so he cannot keep eating those heavy elbows. And I think he has a cut open up on him now as well. Elbows will do that. Hashimov looks unfazed, but he's got to get out of here. Oh, this is heavy ground and pound.
Referee is talking to the fighter, telling him he needs to fight out of there. If he doesn't see some more action, this fight is going to be stopped.
Absolutely, and it would be a good stoppage. I think Hashimov is probably eating close to 20 elbows. Oh, this is close to getting stopped. This is very close to getting stopped.
Referee is saying watch the back of the head, but both fighters bear responsibility when there's a blow to the back of the head. The fighter on bottom cannot turn his head and then complain he was hit there.
Exactly. And Hashimov just seems a little out of his element here. I mean, the top control of Magomed Kamalov is just so strong. And it seems like Hashimov definitely is bleeding from the back of his head, so one of those strikes must have gotten through. Oh, heavy shots here from Kamalov. How much can Hashimov take?
Sebastian, also, Kamalov has those legs shelved. It's a technique that's been popularized by Khabib Nurmagomedov. What he's done is he's lifted his opponent's ankles off the ground and slid his calves underneath them, making it virtually impossible for the opponent to rise until he escapes that shelf. It's an extremely advanced technique. Unbelievable we're seeing it here on just the second fight of the card.
Absolutely, it's very high-level grappling, and it makes it so hard to get out of that position. Oh, this is close to getting stopped once again.
That's it!
It's
over!
It!
Referee calls an end to the bout. Perfect stoppage. There's not going to be any complaints from anybody, including your winner, who just flipped through the air. Magomed Bullet Kamalov!
Wow, that was one-way traffic. Kamalov complicated stopping there. Never letting Hashimov off the hook. Constant ground and pound, constant work. And as you point out here, pushing the legs like that just made it so hard for him to get out of it. And look, right, brutal ground and pound. Kriebilet here gets soaked with his own blood. The referee scores step away.
Huge respect as well to Hashimov. He's an excellent fighter, but he's not yet a complete fighter. If the part of your game that's missing is wrestling, and you're going against a Russian, it's not going to go your way.
Absolutely. And I mean, if there was any criticism of him, it was perhaps the level of his competition coming in here. And obviously, he has not faced as strong of a grappler or wrestler as Kamalov.
Two fighters are now embracing the middle of the Brave Combat Federation cage. That's what you saw right there. Two men fighting their hearts out, then extending respect to each other, hugging each other. That's what this sport and this Brave Combat Federation is all about.
Once again, here, making sure everything is correctly archived. We are now commentator Austin MC Bill Campbell.
Irish Thunder, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Nikolai Sharipov, has called an end to the action at 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the second round, declaring your winner via TKO due to ground and pound, fighting out of the red corner, Magomed Bullet Kamalov!
This bout is brought to you by Brave Gym. Training for mind, body, and spirit. Brave, it's more than a gym. Balalarov is ready to earn the biggest victory of his MMA career when he takes on Fyodor Bobic, who's looking to build on his latest win with another huge victory at Brave CF 46. Coming up next, Balalarov and Fyodor Bobic collide in this lightweight bout.
All right, Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in the Brave Combat Federation lightweight division. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 4 wins and 4 losses. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs in at 70 kilograms. Fighting out of Sochi, Russia by way of Kazakhstan, presenting Fyodor Bobic. And his opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 3 wins and 1 loss. He stands 178 centimeters tall and weighs in at 70.75 kilograms. Presenting, fighting out of Russia, Murad Balalarov. Your referee in charge is Mr. Maxim Protasov.
Sebastian, our Russia versus the World tournament continues. Right now we've got Russia versus Kazakhstan.
Absolutely, and this should be a good one. I think once again we might see a little bit of a striker versus grappler battle. I know that Bobic definitely considers himself a striker anyway. He started training karate at age 9, went to kickboxing at age 16, and then shortly after that, just a year later, started training MMA at age 17. So again, experienced guys with lots of experience, with a lot of storied backgrounds in different types of martial arts.
That said, Sebastian, it's been known for quite a while now. It was said by Bob Fitzsimmons around 1910. He said this was a boxing world champion. He said 9 times out of 10, the wrestler will win.
Overhand right there from Fyodor Bobic hits the target in a big way. Balalarov seems largely unfazed by it, though. But it was a good move of Bobic to, show some of that power early, give Balalarov a little...
Oh, staggered! There's it wrestling!
What a takedown. I mean, Balalarov was on him in just a second, less even. just took Bobic down at will, and now we'll see what Bobic has to work with on the ground.
Sebastian, there's that shelf again. Khabib is inspiring a generation of Russian fighters in a new and improved way to win in the cage.
Absolutely, there he is hooking the legs, just making it so hard for Bobic to get out of there and improve his position.
Even if a fighter does manage to escape from that shelf, and it does characteristically happen, you're going to get punched in the face in doing it. There is no way to get out of that shelf and not catch something upside the melon.
Absolutely, using the figure 4 hook her on the legs is Balalarov really committing to this position, and he's just so active. You know, as soon as Bobic starts moving, he has to eat a couple of shots from Balalarov. So far, though, Bobic will seem to be taking it in stride, not all too phased by some of the strikes.
They do accumulate, though. All these strikes to the body, these strikes to the head are a little bit like Money in the Bank. They're not going to end the fight right now, but over time they accumulate. They leave the opponent more tired, more shaken emotionally. So that's what you're looking at here. Money getting put in the piggy bank, shot by shot.
Very well said, Kirk. Absolutely. It is a great investment, especially this early into a round. I mean, Bobic showed off some of his power, and Balalarov was like, okay, guess what? You're showing off your strength, I'm showing off mine. So Bobic doing his best to try to get up, but it's just so hard when his legs are hit together like that.
Mixed martial arts was the modern incarnation of it. Was born in 1993, so 28 years ago, but it still continues to evolve. And this shelf that you're seeing here was developed here in Russia by a friend of Brave Combat Federation, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Probably his father had a hand in it too. And as you're seeing, when you develop new techniques, it's very hard for people until they learn it too. We saw it happen in the 90s with heel hooks. Fighters didn't know how to get over the heel hook. They all got broken legs. Then they learned. So what we're seeing here is the evolution of mixed martial arts.
Absolutely. I mean, MMA is a constantly evolving sport. I mean, if you were to flash back just a couple of years ago, you see different emphases in high levels of MMA. I mean, now the sort of Dagestani style of wrestling has just become so dominant. But, I mean, as you mentioned before, for a while it was heel hooks. We had some very strong American-style wrestlers for a while that were dominating. People learned how to defend that. And now we have Balalarov advancing to side control. This is not good for Fyodor Bobic. Bobic from Kazakhstan, but actually trains here in Sochi.
What Balalarov is looking to do here is step over his opponent's arm, trap it, and then rain down punches unmercifully. It was unsuccessful. He ended up in top half guard. Let's see what we can do with it. There's a knee shield. Knee shield is in place to protect the bottom fighter's head. It was unsuccessful. This wrestling is just unstoppable right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bobic, to his credit, he did a good job at defending there momentarily, but it's right back into square one. And now we have Balalarov once again putting their legs together and just making life miserable for Fyodor Bobic.
Bobic did try a key, to his credit. He is not staying on bottom and simply trying to survive. He did try a key lock. But the problem with attempting an attack is it leaves you open to your opponent progressing in his position, and that's what we're seeing here. This is a shelf mount with terrible elbows coming down. A couple seconds left in the round. Past the side and ding! Round ends. There is no question who won that one. The only question would be, was it a 10-9 or a 10-8? I would argue it was not just a 10-9, but it was a 10-9 because we did see some back and forth early on.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree, Rick. I mean, Bobic, he did his best to defend. You know, he did stop some advancements on the ground, and he did land that big overhand right as well. I mean, yeah, clear 10-9 round. And it's very disheartening for a fighter like Bobic. Mentality is the first round just held out almost the entire round. There we have that overhand right. Lands flush. Bobic's credit.
Effect of the elbow, it's the slicing effect that's devastating. the elbows don't just ring the bell, they cut.
Oh, we saw that in the last round as well. Or the last fight, rather.
Referee making sure the cage door is locked. It has never happened in Brave Combat Federation, but it has happened in other leagues. The cages have flown open, sometimes to injury effect. Excellent officiating here in Sochi, Russia.
Absolutely. Seemed like there was some water spilled on the ground in Fyodor Babic's corner. Obviously, we don't want fighters slipping, hurting themselves. Oh, that was a nice little combination there. Beautiful strike and a finish off with the leg kick, but another takedown. I think Bobic is going to regret going for that front kick that he threw there.
It's a problem in this sport. Everything that's going to give you a reward is also going to give you a risk. If you want to move around and throw light shots at your opponent that are never going to stop the fight, you can do that. You can do that for 5 minutes if you back up a lot. But if you set down on your shot, you sink down, you throw a shot that could end the fight, you can get taken down. That's what we saw happen right here. And again, we see Balalarov on top, threatening a side control, threatening a shelf. He's now got full side control. I believe the last time he wanted to trap that near arm between his legs, leaving the head exposed. We may see him move towards that very shortly.
I think so too, Kurt. I think he wants that crucifix position. And it seems to be where I like those knees to the midsection on the ground, where you don't see them too often, but they are effective when they are used.
What that shows is that Bobic is not using his guard to the fullest extent. You can't create that kind of distance. Move the knee all the way back. Beautiful guard pass and land that knee if your opponent on his hips away from the guard. You have a relatively passive guard and it can't have a devastating effect. The elbow's not quite, I don't think it's quite where it needs to be yet. He's out. And there's a payback for that.
Absolutely. I mean, as you said before, Kerrick, high risk, high reward. If you're on the bottom and you go for it.
Coming out.
Balalarov going for the floor, but so far, well defended from Fyodor Bobic.
This is highly unusual. We've got a head triangle and a key lock simultaneously.
Oh, and once again, Balalarov is on it. Oh, and let's tighten up.
Turned it into a hammer lock. It's hard to get the submission with the wrist that far up the back. Not impossible.
Oh, that is it. Murad Balalarov puts a stamp on it with his second round submission over Fyodor Bobic.
First round of the night, technical submission when the opponent went to sleep and was unable to tap. That was a clear tap out.
Here we have some of the highlights from the fight. And again, initially, Bobic did very well defensively, but it was a little too late.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Maxim Protestov, calls a halt to the action at 2 minutes and 42 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner via submission due to Kimura, fighting out of the red corner, Murad!
This bout is presented by Brave Nutrition. Behind the athlete, there are hours of training. Behind every hard training is Brave Nutrition. Murtaza Taha will look to continue his sensational rise to fame when he meets Dmitry Kriebilet, who's eager to shock the world and beat the undefeated Taha. Coming up next, amateur world champion Murtaza Taha takes on Dmitry Kriebilet.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 90 kilos. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 4 wins against 1 loss. He stands 186 centimeters tall and weighs in at 88.9 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Dmitry Kriebilet. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 185 centimeters tall and weighs in at 89.65 kilos. Fighting out of KHK MMA in the magnificent Kingdom of Bahrain, presenting Murtaza Taha. Your referee in charge is Mr. Nikolai Sharipov.
Nikolai Sharipov in charge of the action in this light heavyweight bout, pitting Bahrain against Russia as Murtaza Taha takes on Dmitry Kriebilet. And this should be exciting, and I cannot see it going to the judges' scorecards. Touch of gloves, and we are underway.
Touch of gloves and no more love in those gloves until the fight is over.
Kriebilet looks relaxed. I mean, to his credit, I mean, there is so much hype around Taha. I think most people know about his incredibly impressive amateur career as well. It is not easy to go undefeated in the IMAFs 3 years in a row.
Kriebilet has a little too much weight set on that front foot. He's looking for the big shot just a little too hard. It's going to get him taken down if Murtaza Taha chooses to. But Murtaza is in the growth stage of his career. He wants to try and stand and trade with a top striker like he's got in front of him to see where he's at.
Absolutely, and I think that would be so beneficial for Taha as well, because we know how good his grappling is, and we know how good his ground and pound is, but can he take it to his opponents on the feet? And it was interesting, it was Kriebilet actually engaging in the clinch here. Might be something he ends up regretting depending on what Taha does with his position here up against the cage.
Taha's power is extraordinary. People don't understand it until they feel it. He does things that shouldn't work because he has astonishing power. As you saw there, he got out of a body lock. Now he's got the back. He's starting to bring the pain.
Yeah, those knees to the thigh, they don't look like much when you're watching, but they definitely do a lot of good work for the one who's landing them. And nice takedown there from Taha, right into back mount. Wow, look at this ground and pound.
Referee's watching carefully.
That is it.
Referee has stopped the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, Brave Nation, you are looking at a future world champion in Murtaza Taha.
I mean, Murtaza Taha looked great in his debut, but he looked even better here. This was just so slick. I mean, he took Kriebilet down so easily there with a little trip, and then the ground and pound. I mean, it was just academic. Kriebilet right away turtled up, accepted the position, accepted that defeat, and is bleeding, it seems like, as well. So those shots definitely hit their mark.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Nikolai Sharipov, calls an end to the action at 1 minute and 40 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner via TKO due to ground and pound, fighting out of the red corner, Murtaza Taha!
This bout is sponsored by Brave Energy Drink. Only the best to power your best effort. Fortune favors the brave. Hunkar Pasha Osmayev is looking to make a statement when he steps into the Brave CF cage for the first time against Yuri Verenitson, a super lightweight fighter eager to return to action. Coming up next, Hunkar Pasha Osmayev meets Yuri Verenitson in super lightweight action.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in the Brave Combat Federation Super Lightweight Division. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He stands at 180 centimeters tall and weighs in at 75.2 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Yuri Verenitson. And his opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 9 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw. He stands 179 centimeters tall and weighs in at 74.5 kilograms. Fighting out of Akhmat MMA, Chechnya, Russia. Please welcome Hunkar Pasha Osmayev. Your referee in charge is Maxim Protasov.
All right, this super lightweight bout ready to commence. And once again, I have a hard time seeing this going to the judges' scorecards. No fights have so far. Will this be the fight that breaks the trend? I highly doubt it, Carrick.
Sebastian, you are dead right. This is an Akhmat fighter in here. They are finishers to the heart and soul.
And to his opponent's credit, I mean, all of Verenitson's wins have also come via finish. So they obviously prefer to leave the judges out of the equation. And
having said that, though, I want to say these fighters do not gas. Both these fighters have excellent endurance, as I don't believe we're going to see.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting seeing, you know, how fighters react from a long layup. I mean, some fighters, it can kind of soften them up a little bit. But for other fighters, as what it looks like to be the case here for Verenitson, you know, he seems to be hungry, ready to get back in there. Some nice kicks so far, and you know he looks on point.
It often hinges on injuries. What they call ring rust can happen after a year or two, but if a fighter has been sustaining numerous injuries over time, taking a year off can sometimes bring them up a level.
Absolutely. I mean, so far he seems calm, cool, collected. He's been the one advancing for most of the fight. He made his pro debut in 2015. And as mentioned before, he is a 3-time national Russian pankration champion, as well as a European and world pankration champion.
For those of you in Brave Nation who are not familiar with pancration, it's you could call it MMA light.
Oh, look, he's on a
Osmayev
guillotine.
is on the ground.
Oh, that looks tight. That looks really tight.
Positioning is not quite there. Maybe a slam coming up. That is tight. This is more of a slow choke because of the positioning of the forearms. And Verenitson has to watch. He's got to watch his endurance too. You can wipe out your arms. You can burn out your arms. Looking for a guillotine too hard if it's not quite there.
Absolutely, and it was very smartly recognized by Osmayev. I think that's actually why he didn't want to go for the slam, because I think he saw the possibility of slipping tighter into the choke there. So what he did instead was just let Verenitson hang there, let the grip loosen naturally, and push it off by himself. And look at where it got him. It got him to top control here.
Top control and about to rain some shots down. Big props to the Verenitson. He's keeping the head tight. When you have the opponent who is in top guard, head stuffed, it becomes very hard for that opponent to get anything off. They don't have the leverage to do strikes, and it's very hard for him to pass that guard. Excellent guard work, and now Verenitson is looking for likely a submission attempt on the arm, completely denied. Akhmat fighters extraordinarily hard to tap.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw that just now. I mean, getting a guillotine like that while they are still so dry, where there's not really any sweat to to use to your advantage to kind of slip out of. I mean, so far I'd say Verenitson is doing pretty good defensively on the ground here. I do think though that we will see a little bit more action in round 2, as Verenitson has done a good job at sort of stalling the action here, at preventing Osmayev from getting off a whole lot of offense, which is definitely a good move from him.
It is. I mean, this sport was built on submissions initially, and back in the day, if you knew submissions, your opponent didn't, you could snap a submission out of nowhere and end a fight early. But now, today, everybody knows everything. You can still get submissions, but ordinarily, you have to beat the person up with punches and kicks first.
Absolutely, Kirk. I mean, everyone is just so well-rounded these days. I mean, there's very few techniques that are as specialized these days as it was before.
And there's an old saying in jiu-jitsu, punch a black belt, he turns into a brown belt. Punch him again, turns into a purple belt. That's one of the problems with having a submission-based game based on your guard. While you're in that guard, you're going to take some shots to the head inevitably, and it does not help your ability to pull off submissions. But Verenitson's still at it, trying to pop his hips out, maybe looking for that armbar again. Maybe very tough to get, though, this close to the fence.
And Osmayev is definitely more accustomed to going to the judges. Just to sort of clarify a little bit what was said earlier, I mean, he does have finishes, but he has definitely been to the judges' scorecards substantially more often than Verenitson has.
Just heard the knock, knock, knock for short time. Round is almost over.
Oh, there were some solid strikes there from the top control.
And Sebastian, call this one. Who do you think won that round and why?
We've got to give this to Kumkar Pasha Osmayev. I mean, sure, some credit for Verenitson on the feet initially, throwing some kicks. Nothing super hard, super damaging, but definitely, getting some points. And the guillotine, I mean, put it all into it, but Osmayev was just too slick on the ground, recognized the danger, and rode out the rest of the fight competition. That usage will be enough to win the round.
We've got our, I agree completely. We've got our Green Hill replay. We're getting a slow-mo look at that guillotine with the left forearm on the side of the neck. It's a much slower process to choke the guy out. If the bottom player's elbow was lower and that blade was on the throat, he could have ended it, but it wasn't, and it didn't. Glove touch, love to see that. In the middle of trying to knock each other out, they are friends and brothers.
Right, you are, Kirik. And let's see how that takedown of a submission attempt changed the story of the fight, because it seemed like Verenitson, you know, was looking comfortable on the feet initially. Went for a takedown, or sorry, went for a guillotine there when the opportunity presented itself. I think he'll be a bit more keen to stay on the feet now. Oh, nice strikes there from Verenitson. Nice little combination there, capped off with a kick. Nice work. And like I said, I just think, you know, he's going to want to keep the fight a little bit more on the feet now. Seems like Osmayev recognized that because he went for the takedown. He's working on it now up against the cage, and there he gets it. But Verenitson up again momentarily.
Knees probably coming up to the hamstrings. These Akhmat fighters are relentless. They're relentless with their attacks. It goes from strikes right into a takedown. The takedown failed. It was a positional battle. Took the back. Now he's gonna sweep that leg. If he stands up, he's still gonna be on his back.
Oh, he's going for the rear naked choke.
Hooks coming. We got the hooks in.
Osmayev already
Pressure
has
on the
win.
face.
Osmayev has one win via rear naked choke. Can he make it two?
The old way of applying that choke was to get the forearm underneath the chin so it was directly in contact with the neck. Fighters now have developed, and they're able to get the submission with that higher up on the jaw. You can choke the fighter with a position you see. This is the new evolution of the sport of mixed martial arts. Savage pressure being applied from behind.
Osmayev really cranking it there, but Verenitson battling through it, getting out of that submission attempt. Nice work. This is still a terrible position, though, for Verenitson to be in. But I got to give him credit. I mean, he's doing pretty good so far. He's going to end up, he could have ended up on top if he would have just scooted a little bit more. Right now, he ends up with Osmayev on his back once again.
It was very, very close, but he never got it. This is very much a game not of inches, but of less than an inch. If you can get the opponent's pressure less than an inch from where it is, you can escape. But if you can't, you can't. He couldn't, and he is stuck now in back mount with a choke threat. He got a reversal.
But look.
Slipped that hook.
Nice job.
Avoided a threatened armbar. Caught the other side.
Oh, that looks so tight. Can Verenitson get out of this?
It's tight, tight, tight. Double grip now. Full hips looking for that.
How about the heart and toughness of Yuri Verenitson? Gets out of it again. And now throwing ground and pound. Look at this turn of events.
Heavy shots coming down from Verenitson.
And I wonder if perhaps Osmayev might have burned himself out a little bit in some of those submission attempts. He was really cranking that armbar. And now we've got Verenitson on top.
You can burn out not just physically, but psychologically. If you think you've got your opponent finished, and he doesn't, it lends him a certain strength. It may take him a little while to regain his mental footing, get back into this game, and it may happen right there. He did a little kickoff into a single leg. Single leg is denied, neck was threatened. Back to pulling guard from Kunkar Pasha Osmayev.
What a fight. I mean, just when you think you know in which direction it is going, it turns around. Oh, and no, it looked like Verenitson had stepped into mount, but he actually ended up in half guard instead. But still, though, I mean, he's doing some damage here from the top. I mean, nothing fight ending, obviously, but this is definitely tiring Osmayev out, is definitely winning him points, and I do think that the turnaround he made actually will win him the round as well.
Brave Nation, you did see a push-off attempt. That kick, it was not a kick, it was a push-off attempt. That kick would not be legal to the head because the opponent on top, Yuri Verenitson, was grounded. He had both knees on the ground. In that case, you cannot kick the opponent in the face. You can, however, try and push him off, which is what we're seeing here.
Still, though, Verenitson remaining on top, doing a good job at keeping Osmayev right where he wants him. Oh, he missed. Just barely missed with that haymaker of a shot, and I think he will regret that because now Osmayev
turns it around again.
What a back and forth battle.
Bottom to top. What a round for these warriors.
What a fight. I mean, it has action in spades. I mean, I don't know, Carrick, how do you score that second round?
I was hoping I was going to get a chance to ask you first. I'm going to do something that I never, ever, ever say because it's quitting. I'm calling that one even.
All right, there you have it. And let's see if we can get some of the replays here courtesy of Green Hill. Because there was just so much back and forth action here in the super lightweight bout. There we had Osmayev, very, very nice takedown to the back, and then a slap on the rim. And it looked tight. It looked really tight here. But Verenitson staying calm, battled it out, battled through it, and ended up turning things around. That was the arm bar that also looked to me fight-ending. But Yuri Verenitson is something else.
Sebastian, it could well be that the winner of this round is the winner of this fight.
I think it might be, Kirk. I think it might be.
I don't think anybody can say definitively either fighter is ahead by 2. These two are going to fight like they need to win this round because they very well may.
Absolutely. Oh, nice strikes there from Verenitson. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable in the stand-up than Osmayev. And nice sprawl there, defending the takedown. Osmayev has got to be careful about getting sloppy. Sometimes in the third round, you can see that from certain fighters that they're so eager to get the win that they lose some of their technique.
Brave Nation, the fighters are right above us now, up against the cage. Some fans of this sport find this slow. If you understand what's going on, it's not slow, it is exciting. This is a central part of this sport, and you gotta watch because things like that can happen at any moment, and when things like that happen, it can be fight-ending.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw a couple times in the last round how dangerous Osmayev could be from the top, going for submission attempts left and right. Verenitson now back to his feet, has managed to get a somewhat more advantageous position, but he has got to get his back off of the cage here because all this time spent up against the cage is time and points added to Osmayev's favor.
I am impressed that Yuri Verenitson cannot be taken down and held down. However, that doesn't win fights. He's got, as you said, to circle off that wall. He's got to pummel his arms in, get some hand control, and then try and circle off the wall. Although he's not getting crushed here, he is not winning this fight.
Absolutely. I mean, oh,
nice elbows to the
there.
head. That
slam! What a slam from Kunkar Pasha Osmayev. Wow. Air Chechnya in operation. To change the outcome of a fight, we did see Osmayev get the second takedown.
If it had been completely egregious, the referee could have taken a point away. But as a referee, you never want to do that. You never want to take a fight away from somebody if they had won that round by fighting. I think the referee didn't do it. He shouted a loud warning. I would call that excellent officiating.
Absolutely.
And having said that, better not do it again.
Exactly. And let's see if Verenitson can get back some of that second. Oh, look, he's going for an armbar. He's probably most likely not going to get it from that position, but it was definitely enough to disrupt the top game of Osmayev.
Hard to get from that position, but you can injure the arm there. Although the elbow's not completely clear, you can pop a couple of tendons from there. We are right back where we began.
Verenitson was a little bit slow in that scramble. I mean, he has been spending a lot of his time defending takedowns, which is exhausting, especially against a strong grappler like Osmayev. But Verenitson cannot spend the rest of the round on his back. He's got to make something happen, either a fantastic submission attempt or just straight up get back to the feet, because he was having a lot of success in the stand-up. Oh, Verenitson was close to once again spinning out of it. He's going to Looked like he was going for a triangle as well.
Oh, triangle went for, and it was denied.
I mean, credit to Verenitson. He's a gamer. You know, he's never completely out of fight. And look, Osmayev trying to wrap up an arm triangle
Potential
choke.
arm triangle setup. If Osmayev gets the head tight enough, he'll put that knee on the belly, slide it across, follow it with his other foot, and he was denied. Oh, big shot to the head off a roll. This fight is looking a little bit like a video game.
Absolutely. I mean, it has everything. So much back and forth action. But I think Verenitson is starting to feel fatigued. He's a little bit slower in these exchanges, a little bit slower in the scrambles. I mean, he could have probably gotten up if he had a little bit more energy in the exchange we saw previously.
Such short time now, Brave Nation. We're down to under 20 seconds. Either fighter could make a case for winning this round in the next 10 seconds.
And it looks like
there's that crank we saw earlier. Round ends!
There we have it, and I think that was Osmayev's way of putting a stamp on that fight. The first fight that has gone all 3 rounds, hard to believe, but it is the case. Osmayev popped in just a little too strong. I can't see that there's a warning in the second round to Verenitson, but I think fifth mistake in the first and third round, you've got to give the overall fight to Osmayev.
Absolutely phenomenal, grueling, tough fight by 2 tough fighters. I'm honored to be entering the cage momentarily to interview the winner.
For the first time tonight, we go to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scores the bout 30-27. Your second judge scores the bout 30-27. And your third judge scores the bout 29-28. All in favor of your winner via unanimous decision. Fighting out of the red corner, Kunkar Pasha.
This bout is brought to you by Brave Gym. Training for mind, body, and spirit. Brave, it's more than a gym. Kurbanichbek will welcome the hardest challenge of his career as he meets Jahangir Saeedjamolov in a clash of top fighters from Kazakhstan and Tajikistan. Coming up next, Kurbanichbek takes on Jahangir Saeedjamolov.
Brave Nation, this next bout is 3 5-minute rounds and a catch-weight bout of 71 kilograms. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 14 wins and 14 losses. He stands 175 centimeters tall and weighs in at 70.8 kilos. Fighting out of Tajikistan, presenting Jahangir Saeedjamolov. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 16 wins and 3 losses. He stands 178 centimeters tall and weighs in at 70.8 kilograms. Fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, presenting Abdusalamov Ulu Oleg Kurbanichbek.
Oh, that was exciting.
Ooh, some intensity in the air here ahead of this 71-kilogram catch weight fight. These guys are ready to get it on.
Oleg walked center ring, pointed to it, saying to his opponent, let's stand here and trade. Opponent took it as a personal offense, walked up, exchanged some glances, and now it's on.
I was almost surprised to see them touch gloves, but here we are. And Sergeyev draws first blood with a lead jab there. And as you mentioned, Kurbanichbek has a background in wrestling, but he is just such an effective striker. He has a lot of KO power, especially in his left hook.
It's one of the things that's the hardest to develop for wrestlers is striking. There's a certain rhythm, and of course all the pulling in wrestling, and it doesn't lend itself to the fluidity, to the rhythm of striking. So what you're seeing is somebody who had a wrestling base and overcame that, and now punches, kicks, puts his shots together with tremendous fluidity and rhythm.
We last saw Kurbanichbek in November of last year at Brave 45, where he defeated Vagiv Askerov by a first-round TKO. A result I'm sure he would be pleased to replicate here.
Oh, nice shot! Oleg wobbled just a little. Oleg waiting to find his feet. They're not quite there.
Sergeyev has some power in his punches. That was a solid combination.
Brave Nation, if you don't get hit in the head a lot, when you're hit in the head, you've got 5 to 10 seconds. You got to hang through. Then you recover. Body shots are different. Get hit in the body, it's going to last a while. Oleg got hit in the head. He did make it through the 5, maybe 10 seconds. He's back to normal.
Yeah, he has definitely turned things around here. He is now the one pressing the action. He landed a nice kick a little bit earlier. And some good strikes here as well. Nothing super powerful, nothing that's going to end the fight, but he is definitely getting back into the fight.
He's got to respect that power from the fighter from Tajikistan, though. If another shot lands like that, just a little cleaner, it's lights out.
Absolutely. I mean, both of these fighters have fight-ending power at pretty much any moment. Uppercut, hellacious uppercut missed there from Oleg, which could definitely have altered the course of the fight had it landed. Sergeyev smiles after landing a leg kick of his own. And he eats one as well from Oleg.
Maybe an accidental eye poke. Oleg's not sure what happened. Did not realize that the fight was stopped. The referee may have been out of view when he stopped it. Sebastian, sometimes these happen, and it's a punch to the eye, and the fighter feels like a finger went in the eye, and it didn't. In the heat of the fight, you can't quite tell.
Absolutely.
Right now, referee is telling Oleg, keep your fingers together, and the fight goes on.
And I would not expect Kurbanichbek to have done anything like that on purpose. I mean, sometimes in those exchanges, even if it were the finger at slips, you know, your hand just kind of opens up, you know, after you've landed a strike. Maybe it just, it could be several different things that prompted it. Either way, they are back in action now. Leg kick misses there from both fighters, actually.
I like how Kurbanichbek is always feinting with the hands, always feinting with the hips, always double leg denied. Not quite sufficient commitment on that double leg. Oleg now is his opponent up against the fence. He's very skilled at tying up and going into elbows, and they can be fight turning. We've seen it before.
Nice takedown from Kurbanichbek. He was landing some solid shots as well, especially a left hand that definitely got Sergeyev attention. And now instead it is on the ground. Sergeyev working hard to get back onto his feet, but Kurbanichbek just not giving him the space required to do so. Oh, he's going for a rear naked choke.
very tough to get without position first. There is an old adage, position before submission. There are times you can break it. I'm not sure this is one of them. This is a time you can try and break your opponent's head, though, and that's what's going on.
Absolutely. Kurbanichbek just unloading with strikes on Sergeyev, who is holding on to his opponent's left hand for dear life just to make sure that the choke is not completed. Oh, but he lets go in just a split second.
Oh, that's escaped. Ooh, but it's frying pan into the fire. You escape the choke, and there's shots raining down on you.
Yeah, this is a terrible position for Sergeyev. I mean, he just can't really get out of there. I mean, Kurbanichbek is just not giving him any space to work with at all.
As I alluded to earlier, this fighter is absolutely relentless, and he will attack you with strikes, with submissions, and with his wrestling. There is no rest whatsoever against this man. Sergeyev doesn't seem to want any rest. He's trying to stand. He's trying to bring the fight back up to his feet. He is up on his feet. We're down to short time now, Brave Nation, about 5 seconds. Oleg looking maybe for a takedown to cement this round. And that's time. Mighty, mighty round.
Absolutely, a great first round, and especially for Kurbanichbek, who really came on strongly there, ironically enough, after getting tagged himself. It's almost like it woke him up, got him into the fight. He realized that he needs to give a little bit more, and that he certainly did. Finished off around very, very strong. Back clinch position, landed a strong knee in that position as well, and just dozens of strikes from the background.
So everybody knows Russian fighters are arguably the toughest in the world, and I have to say, I don't know if you've noticed, but these fighters don't even use stools. Everybody's like, I don't need to sit down in a stool. Only weak people do that. Some of them stand, some of them rest on the ground. People so tough they don't even need a stool. That's it. It's seconds out. Everybody's got 10 seconds to exit the Brave Combat Federation cage, so the action can resume for you, our great fans.
And let's see how Sergeyev gets back into the fight, because as mentioned, very strong. He kind of clipped Kurbanichbek in early instances of the first round, but then Oleg just got back into a fight and started taking over. So let's see what adjustments Sergeyev can make here. Nice little strike combination there. Mostly missed or blocked.
A punch is most effective. It's most likely to knock the opponent out. Not there when an opponent is moving away, but when you can catch an opponent moving in.
Kurbanichbek is finding the target with that right hand. Twice it got through. Very nice work. Going for the takedown now, which is being well defended by Sergeyev, who lands a nice counter and a left hand, but Oleg fires back.
That's what makes Oleg such a special fighter. He was completely dominating the standing, landing left, right, could have continued with that, and instead, level changed, got in on his opponent, took him down to the mat, and now is threatening something even worse than a left and a right to the head.
Absolutely, he is back. Oh, he's got it!
It is over!
That is it!
Oleg gets the tap!
Abdusalamov, Kurbanichbek lines up another victory here in Brave Combat Federation. Does it with style. That was a pick.
Nation, your referee, Nikolai Sharipov, has called an end to the action at 1 minute and 8 seconds of round number 2, declaring your winner via submission due to rear naked choke, fighting out of the red corner, Abdusalamov Oleg Kurbanichbek.
This bout is presented by Brave Nutrition. Behind the athlete, there are hours of training. Behind every hard training is Brave Nutrition. Magomed Abdusalamov is eager to mark his Brave CF debut with a huge victory as he takes on Andrei Leznev, who's ready to represent Ukraine at the highest levels of MMA. Coming up next, Magomed Abdusalamov looks to maintain his undefeated record against Andrei Leznev.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 68 kilograms. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 19 wins and 9 losses. He stands 170 centimeters tall and weighs in at 67.8 kilograms. Fighting out of Ukraine, presenting Andrei Iron Leznev! And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with an undefeated professional record of 6 wins and 0 losses. He stands 178 centimeters tall, weighing in at 67.95 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Magomed Raketa Abdusalamov! Your referee in charge is Mr. Maxim Protasov.
All right, our first bout of the main card is ready to commence. 26-year-old Magomed Abdusalamov against 33-year-old Andrei Leznev.
Chinese Sunda versus Japanese Karate. It's about to happen now!
All right, there we go. Notice that Leznev actually pointed to his bicep when Phil Campbell called out his name Iron. I guess it could refer to all the iron he's been pumping. But let's see if it translates to success here in the Brave cage.
Leznev stalking. Stalking looks good, but it can be dangerous. You have to stalk in a very careful manner. If you continue moving forward like this, you will eventually get caught. I'd like to see just a little bit more feinting from him. Caught kick to the thigh didn't appear to have any appreciable effect right off the back, but those do add up.
They sure do. It's money in the bank, as we've said previously. And Leznev, I mean, he is a guy who does like to sit down on his punches and strikes, so I'm not too surprised that he's keeping a somewhat more stationary approach to things. But he might have to change things up a little bit, because I can see that Abdusalamov's reach and height might give him a little bit of an issue, so he'll definitely have to stay mobile if he wants to secure victory.
One of the differences between these two fighters is the distance between their feet. Abdusalamov has a wide stance that he can use to throw kicks from the outside with. He's a little bit more sideways. Andrei Iron Leznev is squared up more, trying to let those hands go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very different styles and different body types. Just, you know, a real collision here between two very different kind of fighters.
Abdusalamov is fighting out of a southpaw stance, means his right foot is forward. What his opponent, Iron Leznev, wants to do is keep his left foot on the outside of his opponent's foot. There's a little game going on right now. It's hard to see about positional dominance. When you fight somebody who fights backwards, who fights with their right side forward, you need to keep your left foot on the outside of their foot so that your right hand comes right down the middle. It becomes the jab.
And Abdusalamov is starting to find his range a little bit. He's landed a couple strikes here and there. I mean, nothing fight-ending, obviously, but he is definitely starting to find the mark. I mean, we see some redness in the chest of Leznev, and it is because of that front side kick from Abdusalamov, which is very common in Sanda. Oh, nice quick combination there from Abdusalamov. Brings a smile to the face of Andrei Leznev.
And when you make a fighter smile, you know it's because it hurt.
Yeah.
Again, we're seeing the long-range Sanda striking attacks from the outside. Andrei Iron Leznev needs to get on the inside and do his thing.
Yeah, he cannot stay at this kicking distance because he is going to get slowly picked apart. A nice 1-2 combination there again for Abdusalamov, and a very quick outside leg kick.
This is where the stalking approach to this sport can play against you. If you move forward methodically, your opponent, if he's taller, has longer limbs, can continue to fight you from the outside, landing painful shots. They may not knock you out, but they sure hurt. They sure impress the judges, and they can turn the tide of this fight all by themselves. Iron Leznev needs to get inside, and he's going to have to do it explosively.
See, he seems to be waiting to counter, but Abdusalamov just seems a little too quick for him. I mean, Leznev hasn't really landed anything significant yet. Nice counter kick there from Abdusalamov.
I think you can say legitimately he kicked his butt on that one.
Yeah. Nice combination again. Kick didn't quite land, mostly landed on the guard itself.
Sebastian, I am liking those inside leg kicks from Iron Leznev from Ukraine. The calf kick is, of course, the newest strike to become popularized in this sport. It is usually thrown to the outside of the tibialis, but that one does appear to be effective from on the inside of the thigh as well. Excuse me, the inside of the shin as well.
It is, and we are seeing some redness on the lead leg of Abdusalamov, so definitely those, I mean, just look at how Leznev is built. I mean, he's built like a refrigerator, so undoubtedly those shots. Okay, looks like we got a bit of oh, is he bleeding as well?
I don't know if we're going to get a replay. As I said earlier, many times it looks like there was an eye poke and it wasn't, and the reverse can be true as well. My hope is that this was not a clean shot and the referee stopped it thinking it was an eye poke and it wasn't. We've got a replay here.
Yeah, that didn't quite
Let's get another angle. I think it was a headbutt. There was an accidental clash of heads, and that's what it was. It was not the shot that came after it. They've got excellent medical staff here. They've got a cut man. Depending on what's allowed in this commission, he may put a little adrenaline 1-1000
that is a bad cut.
On that cut. I hope for both fighters' sake that this fight is allowed to continue, because no one wants to lose a fight this way, and honestly, nobody wants to win a fight this way.
Exactly. It really would be a shame.
They're applying a little bit of grease now to the cut afterwards. They don't apply grease to the face before the fight, and I believe they should, and this is exactly why. If both fighters have grease on their head when you have a clash of heads, it is much less likely to cause a cut like this. Unfortunately, that's not the process here. This may be the result of it.
I agree completely, Kirk. Let's just hope that they can do a good enough job for Leznev to continue fighting here, because it has been an entertaining bout so far.
They have an excellent commission here. They have excellent medical staff, and of course, we will abide without question by their decision. If this was an accidental clash of heads at this point in the fight, it's going to be called a no contest, because there was not enough time in the fight thus far for the fighters, for the judges to come to a decision.
Let's see what the referee, what course of action is taken here.
The commission may be conferring with each other, commission members may be. They will then transfer their directive to the referee, and he will let us know what is the outcome of this bout. Ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, you can see the disappointment in the eyes of both fighters. The Irish Thunder is going to make it official in short moments, but I do believe this bout has been declared a no contest. It did appear to be an excellent fight. I hope we can run it back again sometime very soon. Once again, it does appear that the commission has come to the conclusion that this was an accidental clash of heads. The doctor has said the fighter cannot continue. And when that happens, this happens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, referee Maxim Bogatov has been forced to call an end to the action at 4 minutes and 17 of the very first round due to an accidental headbutt, declaring this fight a no contest.
This bout is presented by Brave Nutrition. Behind the athlete, there are hours of training. Behind every hard training is Brave Nutrition. Konstantin Erakin returns to competition and is ready to clash against another giant in Sergeyev Romanov, who is looking to make a splash on his Brave CF debut. Coming up next, a clash of heavyweight sluggers as Konstantin Erakin takes on Sergeyev Romanov.
Подготовка проходила сначала в Дагестане, сборы проходили, потом проходили в Москве до конца вот этой недели. Ну, на самом деле я не взволнован, в принципе у меня поединков тоже достаточно. Мне просто интересно, что будет. Ну, я отдохнул и полон сил. Ну, надеюсь, зрелищный поединок покажем мы вместе с моим оппонентом.
Подготовку я, как обычно, у себя в клубе проводил в Москве. Это меня никогда не подводило, так что я на этот раз не подводил. Ну, это для меня, во-первых, большой шанс, и этот шанс я никак не должен упустить. Так что будем шокировать мир ММА. Ну, фанаты мои всегда знают, чего от меня ожидать, так что и на этот раз то же самое. Ну, представлять страну на большой мировой арене – это уже большой груз. Ну, мы с этим справимся, я думаю.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in the Brave Combat Federation Heavyweight Division. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 8 wins and 1 loss. He stands 183 centimeters tall and weighs in at 118 kilograms. Fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, presenting Sergeyev, Kamalov. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 9 wins and 4 losses. He stands 180 centimeters tall, weighing in at 103 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Konstantin, the Russian Bear, Erakin. Your referee in charge is Rebin Lightsaber.
All right, Rebin Saber in charge of the action here in this heavyweight bout.
Brave Nation, we know the heavyweights are not as fast as the lighter-weight fighters, but do not blink on this one. Round 1.
All right, here we go. We'll have to see if we actually do see the second round. I mean, Erakin, he is one of those guys who just swarms you when he's got you hurt. So you better not show any weakness. And it is Romanov who lands the first strike with an outside leg kick.
Romanov actually moving his head very, very skillfully. Slipping, bobbing, weaving, feinting it forward. Very effective technique. If he keeps it up, oh!
Heavy right hand from Erakin.
Caught a left, stopped moving, ate the right.
Nice heavy outside leg kick there too from the Russian Bear, and
answered. You can see the mass behind that kick.
Another heavy leg kick, and that one definitely got Erakin's attention. He's actually moving a little bit differently now after it.
It's about 120 kilograms behind that shin. Oh! Big shots landing.
They're exchanging leg kicks here, and those will definitely, I mean, when you're this heavy, it'll do a lot of damage. I mean, it's not necessarily a long-term investment. It could be a short one.
Sebastian, I've got to throw some huge props out to Erakin. He has got fast hands. These are explosively quick hands, more reminiscent of a middleweight than a heavyweight.
Absolutely, I agree completely. And I like that lead jab to the body. I mean, it's a good thing to establish early. That way, I mean, your opponent will slowly start to naturally lower their guard the more that they are struck at the body. It's just a way that, you know, it's just like they just get into it after a while. And that will definitely open up for a heavy, heavy high strike from Erakin.
As we've talked about earlier, those calf kicks are the most popular new technique in the sport. You can see a big red welt already on the left outside calf of the Russian Bear.
And interesting, Romanov landed or just barely landed a high kick before. It was more with the toes, really. Had he been a little bit closer, that would have done a whole lot of damage.
Erakin may be just a little too focused on his hands right now. He may become predictable. He may have just a little bit too much weight in that front foot, trying to set up a counter like that. When that happens, that calf is open for exactly that strike, the calf kick.
I mean, look at the redness on the calf of Erakin. I mean, those kicks are doing damage. And credit to Romanov for not really, I mean, it would be easy to sort of, under these bright lights of Brave Combat Federation and against such a seasoned, experienced veteran like Konstantin Erakin, to, you know, to sort of falter under those bright lights. But Romanov, he's up to the task. He's taking it to Erakin.
Sebastian, Romanov actually has a win via low kick. If he keeps landing these calf kicks perfectly, it can end the fight on its own.
I mean, look at the redness there. It's just behind, above the knee as well. I mean, that is a painful place to be kicked. And again, I mean, these will add up. Another nice jab to the body there from Erakin. But I would like to see a little bit more volume from him.
Konstantin is having success with those hands. That jab is fast, 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 but he's paying a price over time by being open to that kick that you just saw there again.
Exactly.
He's got to start circling just a little bit more and popping in and out. There you
overhead
go.
right. See, that's what I like to see. He mixed things up a little bit, added more combinations, not as many single shots, and I think that will be his key to victory. If he can mix up maybe nice there, a kick to the body as well, go body, head, leg, something like that, I think that will definitely be a recipe for success. Oh, he felt that leg kick. It was evident.
Chomanov showing the fans of Brave Nation why some people call him Tank. This man can take a shot. He's got armor on his head and armor on his body.
Absolutely.
Up to the Russian Bear now to try and get some tank-piercing rounds off.
Oh, another high kick.
Giant man with a high kick.
I mean, credit to Chomanov. He is a flexible guy. I mean, if you were to just look surface level, look at his body type, you wouldn't think that he would be the guy who throws high kicks, but he definitely is. He's established that now twice. Both haven't quite been thrown with 100% success. He's been a little too far away both times, but I think third time might be the charm.
At first glance, Chomanov looks like he can't touch his toes and maybe he can't even see his toes. But as I said earlier, this is a highly conditioned athlete.
All right, first round is in the
one
books.
ends. We're going to very shortly get to a replay, I hope, but put you on the spot. Who do you think won that? 10-9, 9-10?
That is a tough one. I think that actually to Oleg Chomanov. He was more pressing the action for the most part, and a lot of hellacious leg kicks.
It's always a hard call in cases like this, and it does come down to judgment. Do you count a few shots that land heavy or a multiplicity of shots that landed not nearly as hard? And that does leave it in the hands of the judges. Although I'm with you, I think by the slimmest of margin, Sergeyev Chomanov took that 10-9.
But then again, I totally see judges scoring it for Erakin. I mean, he was more effective with those strikes. He landed some pretty nice shots as well.
Absolutely, Sebastian. There are absolutely good arguments to be made for either fighter after that round, and we're about to have another one as soon as the Saber says so.
Fight ready. Fight ready. Let's fight.
All right, round two begins. And I wonder, of course, I was just about to say, I wonder if Chomanov is going to return to those effective leg kicks. Yes, he is.
Answered, he sure is. He's having big luck with that calf kick.
And they're getting into some wild exchanges now. Erakin is raising, sort of just adding a little bit more. Oh, he lands a high kick.
Oh, back at him. Waiting for his feet to come under him. Russian Bear maybe should have swarmed.
I think he might have made a bit of a...
another huge shot!
Oh my God! Oh, he's down!
It's over!
Konstantin Erakin returns to the win column in a big way with a second round knockout. Wow, he hits hard.
Russian Bear brings the boom to a worthy opponent. Monster win for Konstantin Erakin. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, we do have expert staff attending to Sergeyev Chomanov. I have every expectation that he's going to be just fine. He has multiple medical personnel in there. He's got his coach in there. I think what you're seeing right now is as much disappointment as it is the medical effects of this fight. He took some very hard shots. The fight was stopped perfectly appropriately. I think from a medical perspective, he's going to be deemed just fine. And by the time it comes time to make this fight official, he'll be standing on his feet next to his opponent. And I promise you, I guarantee you, both these men are filled with nothing but respect for each other.
Absolutely, and you can see there in the replay, that is the look of a man who has returned with a huge win here in the heavyweight division. Konstantin Erakin gets it done.
There's a possible broken nose here. Could even be a broken eye orbital with power at that level.
And it started off with the jab, actually. The jab that set up the whole sequence of events. I mean, obviously it was the right hand that Erakin's right. But if the effectiveness of Erakin's jab really was on display. And we are being informed that it is, in fact, a broken nose that Romanov has sustained. And that is no surprise how far Erakin is.
As we suspected, there was a broken nose in there. The broken nose is often caused to stop a fight. Blood goes back in the lungs, makes it hard to bleed. I want to say once again, this was an absolutely appropriate stoppage. No one is going to complain about it.
Oh, definitely. And you can see from Romanov's body language, he was done.
Fighter is back on his feet. They may be escorting him to a stool.
Seems to be all right physically. Obviously, shot and hitting your nose hurts. Great. I can speak from experience. Once the adrenaline wears off, that's really difficult. Nice shoulder walking there.
Sebastian, you were talking earlier about what set this up, and it was the jab. That's absolutely what Konstantin Erakin had the most success with. He was setting up the jab set up the rest of it, and the rest is history. Getting a little replay of some of that action.
There we have some of those jabs that really set up the finishing sequence at the end. Nice overhand right there as well.
I have to say, for big men, these are speed demons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about it heading into the fight that, you know, this might not be the most technical or fast-paced affair, but we actually had to eat our words a little bit.
We did. We had a technical, fast-paced affair.
I mean, Romanov was throwing high kicks, the action was back and forth, and I mean, the finishing sequence was great as well. So, okay, it might actually have been a bit more of a slip than anything that, or maybe just the sheer impact, the sheer force of that kick from Romanov.
I noticed that with Romanov's kicks, they have a huge amount of mass behind them. Oh!
He basically took him off his feet there. And he wants to go fight bare knuckle now. Who is gonna want to fight bare knuckle against Konstantin Erakin after seeing that nose-shattering performance?
No three guys at the same time.
Yeah, that was an excellent stoppage there from referee Rebin Saber.
This bout is brought to you by Brave Gym. Training for mind, body, and spirit. Brave, it's more than a gym. Roman Bogatov makes his highly anticipated Brave CF debut and looks to start his new journey with a bang against Nurjan Akishev, who is ready to shock the world and earn the biggest victory of his career. Coming up next, Roman Bogatov meets Nurjan Akishev in a catchweight bout of 67 kilograms.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 67 kilograms. Introducing your first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 11 wins and 2 losses. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs in at 67 kilos. Fighting out of Kazakhstan, presenting Nurjan Akishev. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 10 wins and 1 loss. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs in at 66.9 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Roman Bogatov! Your referee in charge is Nikolai Sharipov.
Nikolai Sharipov in charge of the action here. Both fighters making their brave debut, and this should be a good one.
Round 1.
Touch of gloves.
I'm not sensing there's going to be a big feeling out period at all between these two.
Nope, Akishev went straight to it with a leg kick. Now he's tried his hand at a straight left, fighting in a southpaw.
Bizon striking from the outside, perhaps widely. Nice jumping hook, beautiful straight left hand out of that southpaw stance.
And he's definitely seems to be a faster, more agile fighter right now.
Brave Nation, when you have that southpaw stance, when your right side is forward, you can no longer effectively jab your opponent. Your rear hand, your power hand, becomes the jab. But in order to have that land effectively, you got to have that right foot just on the outside.
Oh.
Right there. He's trying to set it up. Didn't quite land to the head. Now he's digging down to the body.
I like that. He didn't have, a whole lot of success with that strike, so he just went straight to the body instead. Oh, nice knee there from Bogatov. And there is a takedown attempt, but shrugged off by
Huge.
Akishev.
That could be a huge moment in this fight. As you said, that double leg attempt was shucked off completely without a great deal of effort. Should build some confidence up. But no, the Russian is in there again, looking for a takedown, not from the outside, but from the clinch.
And this, I think, will be a lot more problematic for Akishev, having to work up against the cage this way, because he kind of got out of the takedown as they were going towards the fence the last time. And as I mentioned before in the walk-ins, I mean, Bogatov is tenacious with his takedowns. But look at this. Akishev kind of turning it around on him.
It's going to be a little scramble here, maybe a crazy one. And whoever comes out of this scramble could win this fight. Absolutely. It is so close. These are the moments, Brave Nation, these are the moments a fight is won and lost. These moments where nobody knows who's going to come out on top. Whoever scrambles the best is going to win.
Nicely done there by Bogatov, capturing the leg of Akishev so that Akishev can't really put weight on it and use it for base in the same way.
As you said earlier, Bogatov is like a pit bull on a bone with these takedown attempts. One doesn't work, he's going to transition to another and another and another until he can get his opponent down on the ground where he wants him.
And in general, Bogatov will, there, look at that. But,
oh!
Akishev ends up on top.
Tables turned, hooks are in.
This was unexpected. I did not see that coming in that grappling exchange.
Bizon looking for the choke. Those hips are driven down to the mat.
There's plenty of time to work as well.
Huge pressure on the lower spine of Roman Bogatov.
Don't think it's quite latched on as Akishev would have liked.
Nearly 2 minutes left in this fight. That is a long time in back mount.
It's going palm to palm here. I mean, if nothing else, holding this position would be enough to win Akishev around.
It's also tremendously gassing to be stuck on bottom in this position. Huge pressure on your kidney area, makes breathing difficult. And somebody trying to pull your head off your body, that makes breathing difficult too.
Absolutely.
Gave up on the choke, returning to strikes.
I think that might have been a wise move because it did not seem like he was gonna get it from that position.
Huge respect to Roman Bogatov for withstanding that onslaught.
But Akishev once again taking the back. But Bogatov, look at that. He captures the leg and then turns it around on him. Akishev would have been wise to perhaps get out of there a little bit earlier.
Now we're going to get to see what Roman Bogatov can accomplish when he's clearly on top.
And let's see, this is a, he was working so hard to get here. Now he's got it. Not as much time to work as he would have liked, though.
Bizon's got the beginnings of a high guard, maybe trying to set up a triangle. In on the single, denied by a front headlock. This is exactly the kind of grappling mastery that we were hoping to see. Arm-in guillotine attempt coming up.
Oh, look at that. It is worth mentioning, though, Akishev has never been submitted. Oh, oh, nice left hand lands there for Akishev.
Round ends.
All right, what an action-packed first round. Once again, a lot of back and forth action there. I think Akishev might be kicking himself a little for not going for a little bit more ground pound when he had that back knock. He was working for a palm rear and he just couldn't really get it.
In the end of the fight, fighters often do not what they should do, but what they love to do. Some fighters love to stand and trade hands. Even if it's not what they want to do, they love to throw the fans. We're looking at a fighter that loves to submit his opponent. That's what he tried to do.
That is a very good point. Here's some more of the action. This is where Bogatov turned things around. So nicely done. Grabbing the leg like that. And then it scrambles, turning things around, getting himself out.
Short time now. 300 outside the ring. About 10 to 15 seconds. The action's about to start again. I think once again we're going to see a million of strikes and
Absolutely, I think that was, we could almost call the whole first round a feeling out process. I mean, they were just going at it from the start. I mean, now they kind of know each other a little bit more.
I'm interested to see, knowing each other now, what form of attack they're going to choose to take. Or do they want to stand and trade? Could we see a flying leg lock attempt?
There's
Tried
the
to
shot.
get in on the single, but it was denied handily.
Nice takedown defense there from Akishev.
If Bogatov wants to take his opponent down, I do believe he has to clinch with him first.
Or at least set it up a little bit better. I mean, he dove from that one from far out. This one he got because he caught the kick. But before, he just kind of dove on it without really setting it up properly. And let's see if Akishev can get out of this one or if Bogatov will advance to a more advantageous ground position. I believe he will.
Bogatov has passed those legs. That head control can work against you. You can get stuck in what's called a von Flue choke. If the top opponent puts his hands together, which you're seeing here. The opponent now is clasping his hands together hard, and he's driving his right ear into his opponent's wrist so that the arm cannot be extracted. Then he uses his shoulder to drive into the carotid artery on the side of the bottom fighter's neck, and over time, he can put the fighter to sleep. It's the opposite of what it looks like. You're seeing a fighter with an arm wrapped around his head, but he's not the one in danger. It's the bottom fighter that is potentially in danger here.
Exactly, and it's a deceptive submission that a lot of people will kind of dismiss. That's what, a lot of the times the fighter with a guillotine just don't see it coming. They just don't think, they never think it's going to happen to them until it's too late.
Got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them. If you hang on to that guillotine for too long, this is what can happen.
So far, Akishev seems to have control over the situation. He's recognized the threat. He's using his hand to block the shoulder somewhat.
Once he gets guard, if he gets guard, the pressure on the neck is in all likelihood no longer severe enough to put him to sleep, even over the time a slow choke takes, which is characteristically 30 to 40 seconds. Time to let go of that arm and start working on something else.
Yeah, I think Akishev should abandon that now. He's clearly not going to get that guillotine. There we go, he lets it go. And I think he should instead work on trying to get up here, because I think he will have a little bit more success if he starts softening Bogatov up with a little bit more striking. So far, he has had some very good moments in the grappling, absolutely. But I feel like that will be his time to shine. If he can add a little bit more variety to his game, spice things up, and just keep Bogatov guessing.
Brave Nation, there is always a risk and reward in this sport. What you just saw was the risk of keeping your head too low. The reward is it's very hard for your opponent to get up, but the risk is you can't land hard shots. If you want to get the reward of those big shots, your opponent now has some space between you and he, and it can start getting off attacks like this key lock, this udigarami on the arm that you see here. What you're watching right now is mixed martial arts. It is a balance of trying something to get you somewhere, but it can also get you beat.
Yeah, and we've seen now Akishev working for that Kimura, but again, I just have a hard time seeing him getting it here against such a good grappler as Bogatov. I think it would be wiser to go for a submission from top position at least, where he can land a little bit of ground and pound to soften things up a little.
Brave Nation, Bogatov now has his fingers hooked inside his hamstring. Very, very hard to pull that arm free so you can potentially submit him, especially with a fighter with this kind of extraordinary strength. Maybe a leg lock attempt coming up.
Could be, we'll see here. Akishev landed a nice defensive elbow. Oh, he looked like he went for the armbar, but just, didn't quite get it.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. The armbar didn't work, but we're seeing some decent shots from bottom by Bizan, Nurzhan Akishev.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely still in the fight despite being on his back. I mean, he went for an armbar, didn't quite get it, switched quickly to a triangle, and he's had some pretty solid hammer fists from the bottom. I mean, as far as bottom strikes go.
I think he'd love to get that triangle. He may even be hunting that key lock to try, and if he can get his opponent's elbows to come in, he may try and throw his other leg up and over the shoulder and try and get a triangle submission that way. He is not having any luck with his submissions so far in this fight, however. He's starting to eat some shots for it.
And the thing is, too, submission attempts from the bottom, they're not gonna win you points. I mean, not unless you have it completely tied up and the guy is struggling to survive.
Oh, round ends. Roman Bogatov throwing big shots at his opponent as he comes off of the floor.
And just as Akishev manages to get up time long out, he is starting to look far more fatigued now. And obviously it is a draining style to combat Bogatov's wrestling heavy style. It zaps so much here.
It is Brave Nation. There's nothing about the sport of mixed martial arts that is easy. However, you stand on the outside, you throw a jab at distance, throw relatively light kicks to your opponent's calf. 5 minutes can be not that bad. This kind of scrambling, grappling, wrestling fight that goes from the ground and up to standing, it's that bad. These two fighters are tremendous. They are in world-class condition, and they are exhausted. Whoever is trained the hardest is going to recover the quickest and could very well win the next round and the fight.
Yeah. It'll be really exciting to see who takes command here in the third, final, and deciding round.
The greatest sign of conditioning is not how tired you get in the middle of the fight. If you try hard, it can happen to anybody. It's how quickly you recover. Watch these two fighters at the very beginning of the round, and that may tell you who wins this fight. It's who recovered fastest.
All right, let's see here. Bogatov pressing forward now. Shot lands there. Nice front kick from Akishev.
Akishev trying to land that hand, but his conditioning is such that those hands are a little slower right now. If he moves around, shakes the arms out, that speed may come back.
Oh.
But right now, it's not.
I liked that uppercut, that short uppercut that Akishev threw as sort of like basically as takedown defense.
Fatigue does not just compromise speed, it also compromises reaction time. If you get fatigued, you don't react quite as quickly to uppercuts like that.
Looked like a defensive knee there. I was blocked a little bit by one of the pillars, but looked like a defensive knee as well from Akishev. He might be starting to find his timing a bit better. Right? Nice straight punches there from Bogatov.
Bizan looked like he was getting confident, but now he's getting hit back. This fight is back and forth. Rock and sock him.
That was an uppercut from hell that Akishev threw. Nice takedown defense, too. Oh, solid kick there from Bogatov. Gets Akishev off balance.
Shots are landing. Bogatov is having some luck now by moving forward. I think Bizan might have thought he had his opponent beat, might have thought he had him out-conditioned. But you cannot out-heart Roman Bogatov.
Definitely not. I mean, to be fair, most of his striking is used to set up a takedown, but that does not make it less effective just because of that. I mean, he landed some pretty solid shots against Akishev. And the thing is that Bogatov, his striking can be a little jerky and confusing and hard to read sometimes.
Simply landing those shots, even if they weren't devastating, even if one shot, if it had landed perfectly, was not going to end this fight, does play in psychologically and hugely. I do believe that Bizan thought he was starting to pull ahead in the striking department, and simply by Roman Bogatov throwing something, anything, back at him, psychologically got him back in the fight. I think it may have pushed Nurzan Akishev's mind slightly out of this fight.
Yeah, he seems a little bit more passive now. I mean, obviously now he is forced to defend himself, but even in the stand-up, he just, didn't really have that same killer instinct that we saw a little bit of before.
Bogatov slowly chopping his opponent down to the ground, step by step. Brave Nation trying to take an opponent down up against the fence provides unique difficulties. It has some advantages, but it has some big disadvantages. It's very hard to do in one fell swoop like a perfectly timed double leg does.
And here we see that figure 4 lock around the legs once again. We've been seeing it repeated times throughout the night. It is such an effective technique. Akishev working his way back up to his feet now. But he has less than 2 minutes to work, and he has got to make something big happen if he's going to come away with a victory.
Bogatov loves to maul from these ambiguous positions. It's not a perfect back body lock. Sometimes we get in a ground position that's not perfect, but he still starts throwing shots. These shots accumulate, they hurt, and they can pull you ahead on the judges' scorecards. We see a single leg shelf. Makes it much harder for the opponent to come off the floor. Provides you a little opportunity to land some shots of your own if you so choose to. That's what we're seeing here.
And I mean, this is obviously just a great position for Bogatov, who can chip away at Akishev, just, bringing down his energy levels. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's going to be fight-ending, but it is something that is going to win him the fight if he continues in this way.
Both legs are shelved now. Right now, with 1 minute to go, this fight is all Roman Bogatov's.
I mean, this is why so many people were so excited to see him here. I mean, he has a style that is just suffocating. I mean, it is just ruthless for his opponents. I mean, Akishev is just completely overwhelmed here by Bogatov's pressure. And Akishev once again
trying to get into that head, trying to get the submission. Textbook thing to have done would have been to pummel in and try and reverse position. But this is a man who loves to submit his opponent.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Tried to pull guard, got taken down with a single. I do believe this fight is going to end with Roman Bogatov on top. That always plays hugely in the judge's mind. Who ends up on top in a controlling position is far from irrelevant.
And there the fight is over, ending with Bogatov on top, and by all consistency, probably walking away with the win here as well.
Beautiful display of what grappling in mixed martial arts looks like when it is done expertly. World-class grappling in MMA. Fantastic job. Huge congratulations to both fighters. Hopefully we get another look, a little bit of a replay.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of that action, because there was a lot of it. And it wasn't all wrestling. I mean, Bogatov landed some nice shots on the feet as well of his own.
Talked about conditioning earlier. Both these fighters have world-class condition. They fought 3 times 5-minute rounds. Both of them are able to think clearly, focus their eyes clearly. They brought their heart rate down to probably 110, maybe even lower, in less than a minute.
And I definitely think Roman Bogatov mix things up here. Great, will be lovely to see him here once again. I mean, he has such evident strength.
As always, everything is written down properly and perfectly before announcing it to the public. There will be no errors here tonight. The referee has gathered the fighters center stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scored the bout 29-28. Your second judge scored the bout 29-28. And your third judge scored the bout 30-27. All in favor of your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Roman Bogatov!
Getting to watch a little bit more of that phenomenal grappling action. This is the beginning of one of the scrambles that determined the outcome of this fight. When there's perfect matchmaking in mixed martial arts, when neither fighter is completely ahead, the fight is won by who wins in the scramble. Who wins when nobody's exactly got anybody perfectly. That's what we saw here, but as you can see, it was a back and forth battle.
That it was. I mean, sure, it was a very strong, dominant performance from Roman Bogatov, but it did not come easy. I mean, he had to fight through some adversity there, especially in the first round. And I mean, we know that Akishev is game. I mean, he did not want to get out of there any other way than with the victory. But Bogatov was just too strong, too heavy. His top control was just too much at the end of the day. And like you said, he's here. He's coming for the title. And, you know, he showed some very impressive skills here tonight.
As I referenced earlier, this is a Russia versus the world event. And Russia is doing extraordinarily tonight. It was not because of biased officiating. It was not because of biased matchmaking. These were fair, awesome fights. Maybe it's the hometown advantage. Maybe it's fighting in front of the crowd from your home nation. But Russia is dominating the world tonight.
This bout is sponsored by Brave Energy Drink. Only the best to power your best effort. Fortune favors the brave. Ali Bagautinov will return to MMA action and kickstart his career at Brave Combat Federation when he takes on Oleg Lichkovaka, a young fighter ready to shock the world against his more experienced foe. Coming up next, in our co-main event of the evening, Ali Bagautinov faces off against Oleg Lichkovaka.
Обычная подготовка была в городе Калининграда в клубе «Балтийские медведи». Готовили, привлекали борцов высшего класса, мастеров спорта по боксу. Да, это мой шанс, это самый большой бой в моей карьере, поэтому я его не должен упустить. Посмотрим. Да, и я думаю, у меня есть что Али предложить. И это по телевизору все вот так вот кажется нереально. На самом деле все реально. Да, я собираюсь доказать и буду идти до конца.
Не взволнован. Я, честно говоря, я очень голодный, я злой, и я соскучился по октагону. Я все это время тренировался, я спарринговался и мечтал о том, когда же я войду вновь в октагон, чтобы выйти и просто делать свое дело красиво. Поэтому взволнованность, я так думаю, что нет. Посмотрим там перед боем, что будет. Но пока вроде все нормально, все тихо, спокойно, так уверенно иду к своей. Мой соперник достаточно такой, несмотря на его возраст молодой, он опытный, он за плечами имеет почти 20 боев. И это говорит о том, что в свои годы, в 25 лет, он не сидел на месте. В 25 лет я только первый свой бой по профессионалам сделал, по-моему, даже в 26. А у него тут за плечами уже 25 лет, 20. Голодный. И я считаю, что для него победа надо мной, это будет как бы, для него много дверей откроется, поэтому я думаю, что он будет хотеть, у него будет желание победить меня. Но желание победить у меня его, я думаю, превышает это, поэтому здесь будет такое противостояние двух желаний. И я думаю, мы покажем хороший, красивый бой.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 59.5 kilograms. Introducing your first warrior, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 15 wins, 4 losses, and 2 no contests. He stands 162.5 centimeters tall and weighed in at 59.25 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Oleg Lichkovac! And his opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 15 wins and 7 losses. He stands 163 centimeters tall, weighing in at 59.5 kilograms. Fighting out of Russia, presenting Ali Puncher King Bogatov! Your referee in charge is Rebin Lightsaber.
Over there.
Rebin Saber back as the third man in the cage in this co-main event at Brave 46 at a 59.5 kilogram catch weight between Oleg Lichkovac and Ali Bogatinov.
Some of the fights tonight, I believe, could be over in seconds. I believe this one is going to be a little more strategic, but Ali Bogatinov appears to be wanting to get off shots right off the bat, and there you saw it. Beautiful outside low kick.
And there's been, you know, not necessarily any bad blood or anything like that, but, you know, they've been kind of taking the little jabs at each other. I mean, when Bogatinov was asked what he thinks of his opponent, he said, I don't think much of my opponent, Oleg.
Took him down. Now, here's one of the huge questions in mixed martial arts. When you take a fighter down, do you want to put him up against the fence when he can use the fence to wall walk, or do you want to keep it in the center? Ali Bogatinov clearly believes that he's better off jamming his opponent up against the fence, because when you do that, the guard is no longer effective. The guard's no longer good when you can't swivel your hips. That's the approach he's taking, as opposed to leaving it on the outside. But it does mean his opponent can rise up a little bit easier. Looks like we got the beginnings of a knee bar attempt. Looking for a heel hook. The elbow's not, the placement is not quite right yet for that heel hook to be effective.
That's what I was thinking, didn't quite look on point. And these are some heavy shots here from top position from Ali Bogatinov.
The Puncher King is taking this, oh, beautiful transition to the other side, and I have to say, those downward elbow strikes to the hip can hurt. It can slow down your ability to move when the fight, if the fight goes back up to standing.
And I mean, credit to him, sure, he is a Puncher King. I mean, he definitely packs a lot of power for these lighter divisions, but he actually does have just as many submission victories as knockout victories. So, I mean, again, he can get it done in pretty much every facet of the game.
Lichkovac was trying to set up an arm lock. It was completely denied by the Puncher King.
And these are some hard strikes here from Bogatinov on the ground. I mean, he doesn't necessarily throw the ground strikes with a whole lot of volume, but he definitely makes those shots count.
Brave Nation, the point with these elbow strikes is all about timing. You press the opponent's head. When you feel the opponent's head push back, then you let go. That's how you can get devastating power with an elbow without having to do a wind-up. It takes exquisite timing, and that's what we're seeing here.
Oh, wow.
As an alternative, you can post back and start throwing bombs away.
Those are some hard shots. They definitely got Lichkovac's attention. I mean, they really caused a big reaction from him.
Brave Nation, we are almost within reach of the fighters straight above us. We can hear the thudding of these fists.
I mean, look at that top control. I mean, Bogatinov is just merciless. Bit of a fence grab there, corrected by the seasoned Swedish MMA referee, Rebin Saber.
Looks like we're moving to a full mount.
And this is just such positional excellence from Bagratinov. I mean, he really is completely neutralizing Lichkovaka's offense. And oh, those are some hard shots to the body.
Brutal shots. Fighter has now turned his back.
I mean, that's the thing. They completely changed Lichkovaka's body language. He turned away from those strikes. I mean, that is a surefire tell of him doing damage.
If I could communicate one single thing to the huge fans, the beloved fans here in Brave Nation, it's that sometimes shots that don't look that huge on television are in reality brutal. That's what those body shots were. Short and incredibly sharp. There was another one. These kind of fights can turn a fight around.
Absolutely, but look at this. Lichkovaka turns the table on Bagratinov. Now it is he who has his opponent pressed up against the cage. Let's see if he can do as much damage in this position as Bagratinov did.
Puncher King has correctly turned his hips. He spread his legs wide apart so his opponent can't latch his fingers together around the lower thigh. That's what the opponent wants to do. You want to get in on the hips, reach around the legs, and connect your hands together. But by splitting the stance, it makes it very difficult to connect the hands. And while you're trying to connect the hands, elbows rain down.
Nicely done there from Bagratinov.
Bagratinov is turning it up.
Oh, he's cranking it up now. You can hear the ferocity of these shots.
Brave Nation, when the top opponent is standing on his feet, you can kick up to the face. Kicks down to the face are not legal. Kicks up are. What you were seeing there were legal attempts, although they did not work.
Wow, this round has just zoomed past. I completely lost track of time, and we have less than 10 seconds left now, and this has been a beatdown.
That was a brutal round. That was a dominating round for the Puncher King, and you can see why they call him Puncher King. Punches in mixed martial arts are so good if you don't have leverage. You can't punch well off your back. What we're seeing here is a Puncher King uses his leverage to establish competition and then let the hands go effect. Take us through this replay.
I mean, look at that. That was just a perfectly timed takedown. And as soon as Bagratinov was on top, he was in his element. Scooted Lichkovaka over to the every ground pound, strikes, elbows, I mean, Lichkovaka has got to do something to get Bagratinov's respect. I mean, the first round, it was all Puncher King. So, I mean, he's got to make his way back into the fight if he's going to have any chance. But look at that right away. Bagratinov once again secures top position, and he looks to be going for a rear naked choke now. He has both hooks in.
From here, I am not seeing a fight that's going to last this round.
Not at this pace, for sure.
Excellent defense from Lichkovaka. But Puncher King, despite that nickname, his grappling attack is inexorable. If you block him in one place, he's going to run it to another. Attempted wall walk now from Oleg Lichkovaka. Was successful with it, but unsuccessful. Fighter stayed on his back. Puncher King is now trying to break his core strength, trying to flatten him out where he no longer has leverage.
I mean, look at the top control of Bagratinov. As you said, Lichkovaka, he was successful in trying to bridge out of that, but Bagratinov adjusted and once again just wound up in top position. And I mean, this is like a nightmare. I mean, to be on the bottom with somebody as good as Bagratinov on top of you. I mean, he is just completely taking it to Oleg Lichkovaka.
With Lichkovacha in this position, it's very hard for him to stand because he cannot stand and make distance. If he could, if he was out in center cage, he could stand and make enough distance to circle out. But when you stand against the cage, you're going to get punched in the face, and nobody wants to get punched in the face by Puncher King.
I mean, that's the thing. Instinctively, you would think, oh, I want to get to the cage so that I can use it to wall walk. But that is not always the case. And Bogatinov is not the only fighter to do that. You do see several fighters, especially when using the Dagestani style of wrestling, who want to use the cage to their advantage. They want to press their opponent up against them, limit their mobility, and then once they're hooking the legs, just unload with strikes.
Exactly. Their smothering power is such that where if the fighter on bottom was fighting any other caliber of fighter, they could use that wall to get back up to standing. But these fighters from Dagestan have a form of wrestling that is better right now. I've talked to some of their coaches. The coaches tell me, in time, everybody's going to learn this, but right now, yeah, we got a little advantage. You're seeing it right in front of you. And we're also perhaps seeing a submission setup attempt.
Yeah, I mean, Bogatinov has threatened with that, with a guillotine a couple times. It doesn't seem like he has committed to it 100%, but he's showing his opponent the dangers. You know, you can't just scramble too quickly with me because I will grab your neck.
One of the brilliant things he does is he does not overcommit, and the reason he's allowed to do that is because his skill set is so broad. If he's trying one thing and it doesn't work, he just switches. If he's in a single, switches to a double. If a submission attempt isn't working, lets the head pop out, push him back, spins to the back, looks for a rear naked. He's not committing to anything, and as a consequence, up until now, he has stayed in charge.
Look at that.
Tide is turning,
oh! Lichkovacha synced. He's got both hooks in, and he's going for a rear naked choke. I mean, out of all of Lichkovacha's submissions, rear naked choke is the one that he has succeeded with the most. He has 3 wins via rear naked choke. He could make it 4.
About 80 seconds left in this fight. That's plenty long enough to sink a rear naked choke if you can do it against a fighter at this level. I gotta love it. Ali Bogatinov, Puncher King, is punching back from inside back mount.
I mean, he truly is a Puncher King. Who else could be? I mean, especially at this weight. I mean, he seems pretty unfazed also by this position. I mean, he seems pretty calm. He's slowly, methodically working. And look at that. Spins out of position once again, winds up on top.
Here
that is
comes the payback.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Kurt.
Oh.
And now it's him flattening his opponent out.
We're down to 30 seconds. Huge respect to Oleg Lichkovacha for turning that fight around briefly.
Oh, look at those elbows. This is just gruesome ground and pound. I mean, it says something about the heart of Lichkovacha. I mean, being able to withstand this level of punishment, it's insane.
Bogatinov could be going crazy with his hands, trying to get the referee to stop it, but he is he's a brilliantly methodical fighter. Round ends without a stoppage. Bogatinov melts his opponent to his feet, taps his shoulders. That's a sign of sportsmanship. It's also some good gamesmanship. It's telling him in a very kind way.
Good record and some impressive wins. Just look at it, this being completely one-sided. Oh, aside from that one takedown in the second round, where Lichkovacha, I
Good management transition from that double leg right into back mount.
show of respect, but Lichkovacha is clearly wearing the story of a fight on his face much more than Bagotinov, who looks like he's just entering the first round, whereas Lichkovacha, he looks a little bit worse for wear. I mean, he's wearing that fight.
It's going to be interesting to see if Bogatinov continues to methodically chop his opponent apart or if he chooses to turn it up a notch. Thus far, been methodical. He's doing exactly what worked for him before. But when you do that, you take a risk of getting a big shot like that. You become predictable.
And look at the way, I mean, speaking of predictable, wow, did he see that takedown coming? Look at that ground and pound. I mean, there's levels to this game, and Bagotinov is definitely levels over many other flyweights.
Bagotinov's hips are absolutely unbelievable. The ability of those hips to stifle a takedown attempt are phenomenal. And
oh! Look at that! Slam, bam, thank you, man. Bogatinov puts Lichkovacha to the ground with force.
Those hips can stop a takedown, and if you sink underneath your opponent's center of gravity, those hips can effect a takedown. That was absolutely the takedown of the night. Fantastic suplex.
Yeah, just great technique. I mean, really everything that Bogatinov has been throwing to, or has been showing us tonight has been just such high level, both striking and grappling. But I mean, he really is shining with his grappling here. I mean, the suplex is one thing, but just his overall control. I mean, it's not necessarily one standout moment or transition or submission attempt. It's just his overall control. He is just not giving Lichkovacha any room to work or just even try to turn things around. I mean, he's just been so dominant from his top position.
We are literally seeing Ali Puncher King, Bogatinov, having a day at the office. This is his day at the office. He is an incredible fighter. He has never panicked. He stayed calm. To look at his face, I think he's having a pretty good time.
Absolutely. I mean, he seems as calm as, you know, anybody signing checks at the office. Like you said, it's just...
Guillotine attempt.
Oh, let's see. Bit hard to see from here.
Hands are not together. It was denied. Again, huge respect to Oleg Lichkovacha. He is hanging tough here, and he shows he can turn things around if he gets the opportunity. But is he going to get the opportunity to get off his feet in the next 2 minutes and 22 seconds?
I mean, if previous 2 rounds have been any indication, chances are not really. I think this might very well be how the fight ends, with Bogatinov on top, just unloading against a very game but outmatched Lichkovacha.
You rarely see a fighter this comfortable. Not trying to hurry a submission, not trying to make sure his position is perfect, not trying to bring it up to standing so he can knock him out. He's just grinding his opponent down flat. As I said, this is my favorite style of mixed martial arts. It leaves no question as to who is the better man tonight.
Oh, definitely. And with just over a minute and a half to go, I mean, it's been the Puncher King Express so far.
There we're seeing that grinding top pressure, stuffing your opponent's head down towards the knees where the breathing becomes compromised.
And the thing is, Bogatinov, he's constantly working. I mean, he's throwing some kind of strike or knee or something like that, just very, very regularly in these grappling exchanges. I mean, he's always giving his opponent something to think about.
We sometimes see wrestlers that prefer to wrestle and they throw just enough shots from on top in order to stay there. That's not what we're seeing here. These shots hurt. You're seeing a fighter slowly being beaten up by a better fighter.
Definitely. But once again, credit to Lichkovacha, because lesser fighters would not have made it this far.
Absolutely. It takes a huge man to be able to endure this, and as he has tried to a couple of times, to put him in position to potentially turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at
choke
this.
Attempt is in. It's a little bit of a bulldog choke.
Choke, yeah.
Did not work. Those rarely do. Kind of cool to see one, though.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen one.
We're getting a little bit of a exotic tour, a little safari through some exotic submissions tonight.
I mean, flyweights beware. After seeing this performance, I mean, just wow. Okay, that was a bit of a strange
round ended.
But yeah, it is over. It did actually go, but just look at the spiral both of those spots. And look at this fantastic leg sportsmanship there.
During a pandemic is a sign of all the hard work the Brave Combat Federation has put in, as well as that of our beloved partners, Brave Post Selection.
A lot of components coming together in the right way for us all to be here tonight. Here with the crowd, you know, the nights have been so great that I had the time sort of forgotten about it.
Not only did he hang tough, but he hung tough, gave himself some opportunities to potentially win, wasn't able to take advantage of those, but it sure wasn't because of his heart or because of his skill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. Your first judge scores about 30-26. Your second judge scores about 30-26. And your third judge scores about 30-25. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, fighting out of the red corner, Ali Hashimov.
This bout is presented by Brave Nutrition. Behind the athlete, there are hours of training. Behind every hard training is Brave Nutrition. Eldarov is ready to make the first defense of his Brave CF Super Lightweight World title when he takes on Leonardo Mafra, the top contender from Brazil, eager to bring glory back to his nation. Coming up next in the main event of Brave CF 46, champion Eldarov takes on top contender Leonardo Mafra.
Are you receiving? Requesting backup. Requesting backup.
Receiving loud and clear, dispatch.
Fight has been spotted on the way to Sochi. I repeat, fight has been spotted on the way to Sochi. Champion Eldar. Champion Eldar. Challenger Mafra. Challenger Mafra. Copy. Yes, large crowd of MMA fans headed towards WoW Arena.
Attention all units, it's intense. Approaching the fighter, stand by.
Mafra, welcome to Russia. It's cold here for Brazilians. But don't worry, today you will feel hot, very hot. I don't know how many rounds it will go, but I know one thing. My hand will be raised.
Eldar, my only message to you is let's fight. I predict I'll winning this fight. I have the vision, me with this belt, being a world champion. Let's do it.
This is the ultimate showdown. Rush, it's going to be a long night. The super lightweight belt will be defended for the first time.
Can Eldar live up to his name and deliver?
Or will Mafra steal the show?
Tonight,
Fights on. I repeat, fights on.
And now, two warriors are ready to collide inside the Brave Arena. Brave Nation, do not blink. Our main event of the evening is for the undisputed Brave Combat Federation Super Lightweight Championship of the World. Ladies and gentlemen, your main event is scheduled for five-minute championship rounds for the Brave Combat Federation Super Lightweight Championship of the World. Your three judges scoring the bout cage side are Hadi, Muhammad Ali, Rebin, Saber, and Viktor Kornev. Your referee in charge of the action is Nikolai Sharipov. The main event is sanctioned by the Russian MMA Federation and its president, Radmir Gabdulin, and presented by Krepos Selection 10 and its president, Magomed Kariev. Brave Nation, two men will enter, only one man will leave with the World Championship. Who will come out victorious in this main event? Before we begin, Sochi, Russia, make some noise if you are ready to be brave! Introducing first, your challenger, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 15 wins and 5 losses. He stands 176 centimeters tall and weighed in at 74.4 kilograms. He represents King's MMA in Huntington Beach, California, by way of Balneário Camboriú, Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger, Leonardo Mahalau Mafra! And his opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 12 wins and 1 loss. He represents KHK Dagestan and fights out of the Kingdom of Bahrain by way of Russia. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighed in at 74.8 kilograms. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the inaugural, the reigning, defending, undisputed, brave, super lightweight champion of the world, Eldarov! For referee instruction, Nikolai Sharipov.
You guys are professional. Respect each other and the rules, okay? Listen to my commands, shook hands. Good luck.
The tension is palpable. I mean, you can cut through the tension here with a knife. look at the death stare of Leonardo Mafra. I mean, wow, I cannot wait for this fight.
Referee trying to hold him back, and it's on!
All right, let's see here. There has been some tension between these two guys. And the crowd is behind the hometown hero, Eldarov.
Eldar attacks first with an inside low kick. He's circling out away from what he perceives to be his opponent's power. Mafra is stalking, has not fired a shot off yet, trying to get his range, trying to get a sense of his opponent's reflexes, his timing tonight. Oh! Second shot of the night, big left hook from the champ.
And it is worth mentioning that Eldarov's only loss is to Khabib Nurmagomedov, his close friend. And a loss to Khabib, I mean, that is nothing to be ashamed of. And the kick there from Mafra got Eldarov's attention.
Interesting earlier, Eldar feinted a takedown. He feinted a single leg. I think he's going to get Mafra thinking, am I going to punch you in the head or am I going to get in your hips and put you on the back and maul you? If he can get him thinking about two things at once, it is to his advantage hugely.
Absolutely. And look at, I mean, it seems like Mafra is kind of waiting, kind of biding his time, waiting for the right moment.
Eldar is finding his range early in this fight, much earlier than I had anticipated, because he's not a natural puncher. This is not the combat sport that he came up in, but he has learned to kick and to punch with devastating fashion.
Absolutely. I mean, he looks very, very confident and calm and just, you know, at home here on the feet against, you know, a just Brazilian bruiser like Mafra. And Mafra seems to be targeting the legs a little bit, which I think is actually a smart thing because, hey, look at those tree trunks for thighs that Mafra has. And, you know, landing some early heavy leg kicks will definitely go a long way if the fight does go, you know, all 5 rounds or at least a couple more.
Eldar's strikes are sophisticated. He's mixing up looping shots, shots coming up the middle from the inside, straight shots and kicks.
I mean, Eldarov's striking has improved leaps and bounds.
It has indeed. This is a man who used to jab to set up his takedowns. Now he's punching in bunches.
I mean, he almost seems to be wanting to keep it standing here. And, you know, who could blame him? He's doing a great job so far.
Again, these kicks are a little bit of a new aspect to him. He did used to throw them, but not with that kind of superb timing.
Obviously, Eldarov's grappling and wrestling and top control is definitely his strength, but a lot of people don't know that he actually started out with karate at age 6. He then progressed to sambo and judo.
Eldar keeping his back very close to the cage.
Kick lands there for Mafra. And Mafra is just not letting Eldarov off the hook. I mean, he's just constantly in his face, stalking him down.
Straight shot from Eldar. Nice circular footwork from Eldar.
There was the first takedown and defended by Mafra.
Defended very, very well and countered with a knee straight up the middle.
And that has got to be a confidence booster for Mafra, that he can, you know, withstand some of that grappling. Again, it seems like Mafra is targeting Eldarov's legs. And yeah, I can definitely see the upside of that. But he cannot sleep on the striking and the counters of Eldarov.
Eldarov is now cutting, he's shortening his combinations. He was throwing 1-2-3 shot combinations, and there was a concern on my part that if you throw too many combinations, the counter could land huge. He's choosing his shots just a little bit more carefully now.
Nice uppercut there, but mostly blocked from Mafra.
In on the leg. Is he going to take him down?
Oh,
Took
and
him
he
down.
gets it. But look at this.
And he's back up.
Mafra back up.
And back down momentarily. If that, oh, big shots.
Oh, look at that swarm. And Mafra is cut and taken down. The crowd is going wild here. We did not even hear the clapper for the last 10 seconds.
We've got a big discussion in Brave Combat Federation about who the most passionate fans are. Ireland, various other parts of the world, I would have to say the most gentle are the Indians. They cheer for the Indian fighter and for the fighter fighting the Indian fighter. These Russian fans are passionate. They are bringing it for their hero. And here's some of this incredible action. That shot was right on the butt.
Definitely perfectly placed strike there. And there is a bad cut that has opened up. Look over the eyebrow of Bernard Mafra. Let's see if we can scan the highlights here. I think we're going to have to look at there already. So many big shots landed in the head. I'm not sure when. That is a nasty battle. Ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, large cuts can be found dangerous. Depends on what other things, the nerves underneath. Huge cut is not necessarily dangerous, and a small cut can be dangerous. We have absolutely ringside doctors here who will look very carefully at this cut and see if there's potential long-term nerve damage. If they're not, the fight should be allowed to continue. If there is, it will be stopped. The bout will be declared in all likelihood a no contest, and we will have a rematch. In the case of a no contest, or for that matter a draw, the champion retains his title. And that's what we're going to be looking at if the fighter cannot continue. There's another avenue, though. If the cut was believed to be caused not by an accidental headbutt or something of that nature, but by a punch, the referee can stop the fight and award the fight directly to Eldar. If he believes that the cut was caused by a punch, he's looking for it. We have not been able to find it yet on the replay, but that does not mean it didn't happen. It looks like the referee is stopping the fight. The referee has stopped it. Eldarov remains the Brave CF Super Lightweight World Champion. Eldarov retains his title. The crowd goes crazy. Look at this. And what a performance. And he did it almost all on the feet. I mean, he barely even spent any time in top position. I mean, talk about a statement win here. I do believe what we're seeing here is one of the best fighters in the world getting exponentially better. Using his wrestling, he was able to defeat almost everybody he ever fought. Now you add in these strikes, and this is an unbelievable world champion. I mean, what a performance. I'm almost at a loss for words. He has totally elevated his striking to a whole new level. And I can see him giving every super lightweight on the planet just heaps of problems. Because, I mean, when you factor in how good of a grappler and wrestler he is, I mean, he could be unstoppable. Part of what made his striking so important was his footwork. It allowed him to be to be. Nobody in the sport is going to stand on the end of where your hands land. You need those, that footwork to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Nikolai Sharipov, has called a halt to the action between rounds 1 and 2, declaring your winner via TKO, fighting out of the red corner, and still undisputed Brave Combat Federation Super Lightweight